Warning. The Pop Punk Book Club features heavily biased opinions and unapologetically wild takes performed either by professionals or under the supervision of professionals to ensure the safety of performers and animals alike. We may sound confident, but our views are based entirely on personal feelings. Accordingly, the PPBC and the producers must insist that everyone attempt to recreate and reenact these stunts and activities. Join us at poppunkbookclub.com.
So we both barely made it.
I know, by the skin of our teeth.
See what we do for you guys? We may bring an episode every week, whether we want to or not. I'm so tired. Oh
I'd
my
be
goodness.
so happy to just go to bed. But
yes.
We do it for the people.
Especially with how late this is and how late this is going to go on a Sunday night as well.
Yeah.
I just got back from Canberra, as you know.
Yep.
Canberra being, 4.5 hours away? Actually, I nearly took a photo of me in front of the Fishwick sign. Just for the socials, for anyone who's listening knows what that is.
Who are you kidding? You were going to Fishwick anyway.
Yeah. Whoops, I'll pretend I just drove by. But it was actually funny. I went out. I wanted to get some lunch, staying with my auntie and uncle. And my food was ready, so I went to go pick it up. And my uncle's like, it's just up the road, blah, blah, blah. And I said, yeah, cool. What is it with older people? I love them. But why is it that even though when you tell them, I'm just going to put it into maps, it'll show me where to go. They go, yeah. But just in case for some reason satellites fall out of the sky and you don't have it, I'll tell you where you got to go.
Yeah, right.
He's just like, I'm going to jump in with you. And I was like, you don't have to.
People like to show that it's their town and they're I'll get you there.
Yeah. Trust me, we'll get there safely. And as we're driving, we pull up onto the road and he's like, all right, just left up here. And I was up, and he's given a few directions prior. And when I get onto the main kind of highway kind of road, he goes, you can go as fast as you want along this road. And I was like, what? I was like, I'm in another state. Is that, I've only heard of, it was just for a moment, my brain went, I've only heard of unlimited speed zones, far out in the outback. How's that possible? And I was like, there's no speed limit? And he goes, I didn't say there wouldn't be repercussions, but you can go as fast as you want on this road.
You had further to drive than I did. I was only in Sydney.
That's right. We drove past Sydney halfway home. For people who don't know where that is in Australia.
But we get in the car this afternoon. I've got a 2-hour drive back, and then I've got to hang out with Jayson. So I've got to deal with that. But
that's what got you home, though.
We get in the car, and we're driving for maybe 5 minutes, and my 5-year-old, he's like, I've got a sore tummy.
Julia had a sore tummy today too.
Yeah,
Something
right.
in the air.
Okay, I'll be interested.
Indian food.
Yeah,
that was ours.
No.
Everyone got sick.
Too many chicken nuggets. I think was the problem.
Right.
But so like, okay, you okay? You feel sick? He's like, no, I'm all right. So we kind of kept going, and he fell asleep. And then maybe 20 minutes, half an hour later, he wakes up and he's like, I have a really sore tummy. I'm like, we should probably stop. And we at this point we had a convenient point where we could get off, and we found a pub because we're a little bit concerned maybe he's going to vomit here. So it's we're going to this. Jess stays in the car. I take Owen into this. It's a suburban hotel establishment. It's reasonably nice. We start walking through the dining room area where there's people having their dinner and what have you. Owen just starts going, I think I am going to vomit. And there's this look of horror on his face. And I'm like, fuck.
That's the part where his little thing here went in reverse mode. Whatever that is, the sphincter opened. And he's like, I got the signal.
Football valve. Anyway, so I grab Owen's hand and I'm like, okay, we've got to go. We've got to make a beeline here for the bathrooms. We get into the bathroom and the vomit comes up just basically as soon as we get into the tiled area in the bathroom. And it's like, you did so well to get it to this point, but also you couldn't have just held it for 2 or 3 more meters till we get to a cubicle.
That's so funny. Man. You know, they had the same situation as Ben from Silverchair.
Yes.
In
Fortunately,
the pub.
there were no managers of any famous bands in front of him when we did. So I had this dilemma where I'm like, I'm going to have to go and tell the hotel staff that this has happened. But I felt terrible for them, having to come in here and mop up some kid's spew. So I mopped up what I could with a heap of paper towels. Is that
rock bottom?
What's the play? Is that rock bottom? Yeah. Is that parenting? Sadly, no, that's not parenting rock bottom. I know that for a fact. That's bottom half, but it's not rock bottom. Yeah. But I'm thinking, what's the play there?
You can see rocks, but it's not the bottom. You've got a long way to go.
Yeah. There's still a fair way to sink. What's the play? Do you think it would have been fair game for me to be like, look, you're employed. I'm just my kid's gonna spew. We're gonna hit the road and get out of here.
He's gonna spew.
Or is it? Am I obliged in that circumstance to kind of mop it up to at least mitigate the terror for this poor hotel worker?
Well, a part of me thinks that they operate an establishment, like being a pub, they're probably used to people vomiting.
That's what Jess said. She's like, it's
Yeah.
probably not the worst type of vomit they've had to clean up. Like, yeah.
But also, there's also a part of me that thinks, is there a crossover between the people that would let their kid vomit and then be like, you can clean it up, and the same people who leave their food out on the table at like food courts and don't put it in the bin or at like McDonald's or something, and people who don't put their shopping cart back? Like, are they all the same type of person? Do you want to step into the recklessness where morals don't exist?
Yeah.
Pure-
I didn't. I stayed away from that. Yeah.
I honestly, in that situation, I would have done the same thing. I would have just cleaned up as much as I could and then be like, just letting you know.
Yeah.
So you're a good person. I think
Thank you.
that's one of those life moral tests.
Yeah.
You do the right thing.
I just needed that reinforcement. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Anyway, so it's we're back to just you and I in here. Kale was on last week, which is so cool. I like that everyone's cool with us bringing friends in, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's like, you could assume, like, when you see, you know, a podcast like this, that it's going to just be interviewing people in bands. Maybe people who saw the Steve-O episode first was like, oh, it's going to be like every week a new person from... I'd love to be able to do that, but like, it's really cool that we can just bring friends in. It was so sick. We need to make that happen like more often. I guess it's a good excuse when people travel in. You could be like, come hang out, because
totally.
it's like, well, we do it because we can have like a dedicated time block where we can just chat about pop punk music.
Do you think there was anyone that watched the episode when they first saw Kale's face pop up? They thought, oh, I don't recogniise him. What band's he in?
No, but they would have thought he's not in Goldfinger. Or like the new member of Goldfinger.
They're going to try and disguise this person as a member of Goldfinger.
Man, he's funny. One thing I wish that I brought up on the show, because I only remembered it after when I was thinking about how funny like high school was with Kale and stuff. I don't think you're in the class with him at this point. Actually, this might be a new story to you. We had a geography teacher back in... Were you ever in Mr. class?
No.
Oh, okay, right. So Kale was in that class with me. I think this might have been like year 9 or year 10 probably.
Right.
So it was a while ago. Obviously a while ago, but I mean like not the end of school. He was working on the board and he was writing on the board, and then he'd like turn around to the class. And every time he'd turn around, he'd start like squinting really hard because Kale was sitting there like this.
Yeah.
Like on the desk with his watch forward, and was reflecting he was 16 at this point. Like maybe, I mean, yeah, we'd be 16 in year 10. But he's like old enough to know better. It's such a childish prank.
Yeah.
But so funny. And he's like leaning there and just shining the light directly in what teachers have to go through so much. Kate's a high school teacher, and I feel bad for her now.
Yeah.
But he was just hitting him in the side of the eye, and he turned to the class and like he's squinting and like, anyway, so I'm just saying about geography and stuff, but he must have thought it was a mistake from Kale, like, because Kale was just playing it like it was completely normal. And then at one point, Mr. just snaps. He obviously knew the whole time that Kale was doing it and just looked a little bit further to get the confirmation. He just went, right, Kale, and started walking towards Kale's desk going, you've been shining that thing in my eyes. And Kale at the last second just went, oh, and just went onto his groin. And I laughed so hard. It's like in that moment, like, I've got to level this up, make it funny. And just went straight down to his crotch. I found that so funny. Man, he's funny.
He is.
But you know what is really interesting is that when we talk about like our circle of friends and the stories of listening to these albums back in the day, we keep bringing up Ben.
Yes.
Yeah. So like we keep saying, oh, Ben got us into music, and Ben's become like a little infamous character of this TV show.
He has to come on at some point.
Podcast of the podcast show. We have to get him on.
What album would we do with Ben though?
I don't know. I don't even know if we would want to listen to any of those old albums. He's like, he's lives in another city now. He listens to very different music now. But he, as you said, he was one of our biggest sources of new bands and new music.
Yeah.
The reason I set up a resistance against Saves the Day. It's purely because I got sick of all the band recommendations.
Yeah, okay.
I've had enough. I like the bands I listen to.
I thought we established that. I told you about Save the Day though.
Did we?
I think that's now established.
That doesn't make any sense
in this podcast.
I can't remember that. It doesn't make any sense. I remember just it was as an act of defiance toward Ben. He had to have talked about him at some point.
I think the two of us really liked him. That's
him
liked the band.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, we have to.
I think that was my one achievement. I showed Ben that band.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, that's the one reason to get Ben on the podcast. He can settle this bet once and for all.
But Ben has he's set up, in Sydney. He's got like a pretty prestigious job. He works in art. He's like quite.
Hoity-toity.
I would say more like he's much more serious than he used to be back in the day. I'd assume. I haven't seen the guy in forever. I think last time I saw him was at your wedding, which was how long ago? Ages.
Almost 10 years.
Really? Wow. That's
10 years
crazy.
next year.
Wow. Congratulations in advance. I'm the first person to say
I haven't made there yet.
We'll see. But he's the kind of guy that when I first met you guys, not the story of how we met, we'll save that for another day. But when I first started to get to know Ben, he said, because I was playing golf for sport, because I just transferred schools and I didn't know anyone. So mum's like, oh, maybe here's all the sports you can choose from. Maybe you want to play golf. And I played golf for 2 terms, I think. And then I played bowling with you guys and we went to the bowling alley.
What a cop out that was.
Exactly.
For sport.
Yep. And I remember I was like, I don't know if Ben got away with it because the first time that we went in there, he was like, oh, I've got a lane set up for us. And we went over there and the names, I don't know if you remember this, but our 4 names, I can't remember who the 4th person was that was playing with us, but it was you, me, and Ben and someone else. And he had it set up as Harry, Para, Tess, Tickles on the screen. It has been so good. I think one of my favorite things about this book club, aside from revisiting really old albums that we absolutely love, has been...
Are we on?
Yeah, we're on. Just keep up.
I was expecting to hear the music.
Yeah, and we're back. That's all we do. That's all live.
Yeah, exactly.
And we do all the cuts live too, where you can clearly tell we've cut something out that is either going to cancel us or we've made a mistake.
And those audience laughs, they're real too.
They're in your head, unfortunately. But one of my favorite things is seeing what people leave as comments and, as a response to the videos we put up and hearing what you guys think about the podcast. There was a reel we did a while ago now that was about boy bands and how, your favorite boy band back in the day was Backstreet Boys and mine was 5. And I love this comment that said, first of all, I should say, it's the same guy that left the comment on the video that said, I'm sick of Jimmy Eat World being like, or the middle being labeled as pop punk. We talked about that.
Yep.
And then he left a comment on that reel being like, the only thing that makes me angrier than, the middle being labeled as pop punk is not being credited for my comment. So I refuse to comment. This guy is, everyone on this podcast is just a comment. Like, it's, anyway, he commented and said,
well, who is it? He needs to be credited.
Okay. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to beep it. I'm going to beep it. He said, my first CD was the President's United States of America self-titled album. Still holds up today. And I'm like, that was the album that I said I really, really wanted when I was a kid. And I listened to that album so much now. It's so good.
Do you think he's telling the truth about that? Like, that's not embarrassing enough as a first album that you ever owned.
No, I just think he just, because I was talking about, I think I asked you what was the first album you ever got. So he was just answering that question.
Oh, okay.
But there was a comment on here as well. He said, I'm right there with you guys. Not strictly a boy band, but it is worst, I think. It was the self-titled album of S Club 7. And they said, is there a pipeline from boy band pop to pop punk? And that's, honestly, I mean, maybe. Like, if you like pop, 90s was like the golden era of like pop music. So we all grew up loving what was on Rage and the radio and stuff. And I mean, I still now love specifically 90s pop music. It led me to a lot of band pop stuff, which is boy bands, makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Even, I mean, I thought the Spice Girls were good back in the day too, even though you might not wanted to admit it when you're in primary school. They were really good too. But taking the pop sound into a band is good. I think they might be onto something here. There might be a pipeline between boy band pop to pop punk.
Were they were, it was 2 boys, 2 girls in that band? Is that
In
right?
what band?
In
S Club 7. Oh, I can't remember.
I think it was mixed. And
was there 7 people in it? That's why it was.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
S Club 7.
Yeah, you're probably right.
S Club 7. Was there 2 boys and 2 girls? 3 ghosts? I don't know. I can't be bothered looking that up. Greg can look that up. No, he's not going to do it because whatever. Someone said the other day, actually, no, yeah, they were like, you said on the episode, I'll edit that out. And they're like, what does Greg do? We wanted the same thing.
That's why we have to do
the same thing.
Yeah. I thot you were about to say that we got a comment from someone saying, be nicer to Greg. Stop bullying him.
No, we don't need that. .com, our new initiative. Sign up today. So we've got some good comments on Smash by The Offspring.
Yes.
Which is awesome because I expected to be dragged for my take on that album by you specifically. No.
Yes.
But I, to be honest, the worst one we did get that made me laugh a lot, someone wrote, it's okay to have an opinion even though it's wrong. I was like, oh man, I said, congrats, I'll be reading that on the next episode. Someone also commented and said, it's not great, but at least it didn't include one of the worst songs ever, Pretty Fly for a White Guy. And I was like, come on, man, that song's a banger. Like, and they didn't like that.
They didn't like Smash?
No, they didn't like Pretty Fly for a White Guy.
I thought they're saying it's not great, but at least it's not, at least it doesn't have Pretty Fly.
Oh yeah, I suppose it's not great. But I think because they're saying it's way worse going down to Pretty Fly for a White Guy. Right. But then again, my point, if we come from pop music over to, the era, we gave songs like that a chance. Maybe if you came from the punk scene, that would be like, that's what I was trying to ask. But we got distracted as we do and just stupidly airheaded our way to a new conversation. But I was trying to say that Green Day got so much crap for Dookie apparently selling out. What did the punk scene think of The Offspring when they brought out songs like Pretty Fly for a White Guy and Why Don't You Get a Job? Like, is that the ultimate kind of selling out?
I think they had similar flack as well. But
Do you think it's more deserved? Because the Green Day, I mean, Dookie doesn't sound too sell-outy, aside from just the principle of signing to a major label, but those songs are very clearly just radio pop.
Yeah.
Mm.
But those songs came after Smash though. Like Smash didn't have any of those type of songs.
No,
like
no, no.
Come Out and Play was radio friendly, but not in the same.
But that's my point, is that because they've established themselves with such an underground kind of sound, bringing that, they have a huge contrast to a couple of albums later being so pop.
But I remember reading something that Dexter said about how it's funny that like you feel ostracized, so you start a punk band, and then you get to the point where your punk band starts becoming ostracized because like you're perceived as selling out, that sort of thing. Like you kind of come full circle.
Someone said his vocals are definitely very raw on this one, which I think for a lot of people is part of the appeal, as it gives that independent DIY raw feel. It definitely gets more polished on later releases. So that's a really good point. Maybe people like the fact that it sounds so raw because that's the grittiness and the undergroundness.
I think it suits like the sound that they're going for on that album.
Yeah. He said also, fun fact, in addition to having his PhD, he's also a pilot and a certified flight instructor. He runs his own hot sauce company and is the creator of Nitro Records, which launched AF5's career. He also competes in Ironmans, which is pretty cool for someone who is just shy of 60 years old.
What a legend.
What a life.
Yeah.
You know, like that's like, he seems so unassuming though. When you see him, he just seems like a kind of a quiet to himself kind of guy.
Yeah.
It's like, what is he? As you said, a chemist, flies planes, does Iron Man. Like, that's crazy. Someone also said, one of the GOAT punk albums. I'm pretty sure it's still the highest selling independent album. I personally prefer their major label stuff like Ixnay or Americana, but this album is iconic.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have said, I won't go through all the comments, but someone did say, this is one example of, one instance of many comments, one example of it. So everybody says, I think you would really like Ixnay on the Hombre if you were ever to review that one. It's their follow-up to Smash and their major label debut. I personally prefer Ixnay over Smash. The Offspring are a great album track band, and I think Ixnay is the best example of it.
Cool.
And we listened to that for like a moment. It didn't make the episode, but we were listening to, you showed me like a little bit of something from Ixnay.
The final like hidden track off Smash is used again in one of the songs off.
It was Genocide, wasn't it?
It's the Genocide reprise.
Yeah. And I remember the first thing I said was like, I'm going to like this one way better, I think. I just love the production on it. So I'm actually really keen to check out more Offspring stuff. And as I said last week, I'm really keen to check out Open Your Eyes as well. It's just unfortunately due to the way that scheduling works for the podcast is that it kind of takes 2 weeks for us to get the comments in for like Smash is 2 episodes ago. And then hopefully next week we'll talk about Open Your Eyes.
Yeah, that's all right.
Ideally, it would be good to get them quicker, but we only have like, from when the album launches to when we record this is like bit over 24 hours.
Yeah.
It's pretty short.
Well, the answer is people have just got to get the comments in faster.
Yeah, just
people got to work more.
Come on. And just one last thing before we wrap up this admin section. We realize that is probably a little bit confusing for us to just give arbitrary ratings at the end of each episode, right? So we decided that we're going to be putting them on a whiteboard, right?
Cool.
Yeah. What do you mean cool? You've already kept it cool. Cool, man. I like the idea. I appreciate the acting. So we've done that for the, we've both got our lists here of our present, what is it? Top 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It doesn't fit like more than 10 on here. So really at the end of each episode, we're going to be, maybe if the album is good enough, it might, you know what's going to be sick is when it like kicks an album off, you know what I mean? At the end of each episode of what it gets. But these are our individual ratings so far of what will be our top 10 of the book club. And it's pretty special if a song makes, an album makes it. So do you want to go through them one by one?
Yes.
You start and let me know. We'll go from 8 upwards and we'll see how we both have ranked the album so far.
Good call. All right.
Maybe there's someone out there who is so obsessed with the podcast they've already got a spreadsheet going or something like that. If you're that person, I want to meet you.
When I was preparing this, I was a little bit worried that I would like write a score down incorrectly and someone would have listened to the episode and like, actually, you gave that a 4.73.
If I don't get there first.
Yeah, true.
All right, 8.
8 Smash.
Really, I got it at 8. But what's kind of surprising to me is that I expected it to be at 8 for me. Yeah, I didn't love it as much as the other ones.
And I loved listening to it. So I'm a little bit surprised. I mean, look, all of these albums I've rated pretty highly though.
Yeah, true. That's what I'm noticing too.
Part of the problem I think is because it had like half a dozen context tracks,
the context tracks.
I rated maybe a fine or something like that. It brought down the score.
Yeah.
Okay, 7, Open Your Eyes.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's Say It Like You Mean It.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I'm not surprised by that, but that 7
I
is
think
yours.
It makes sense, but Open Your Eyes. Yeah. I mean, you were saying last week that you think it's a little bit not cohesive and that's the what kind of loses it a bit for you.
Yes.
Which I guess makes sense. But that was one of the albums that if you had asked me said to me, "Oh, here's the first 8 episodes of the book club. What do you think Sam's going to rate him?" I would have that in the top 3, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we loved that so much. I thought it would be a really good nostalgic journey.
Yeah. I mean, it still was.
Yeah, true. But there's also a lot of problems with, like, as you said, with the context pieces that can bring an album score down. There's a lot that can. When you get to like 17 songs, like that
Yes.
can.
Well, I guess it comes back to the idea of like a really short, sharp album of say like 11 or 12 songs that's 30
half
minutes.
hour power, if you will.
Exactly.
All right, 6.
Say it like you mean it.
I got Dookie at 6.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's a 5 rating for me. Like, that's a high rating. We've got, this is elite company. We started with some absolute banging albums. Yeah.
5 Sticks and Stones.
Yeah, same. 6 and Stones.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
but 5's tied for me.
Was it? Oh, it's tied for me too.
No way.
Yeah, actually, 4. 4's well, no. Okay, so tied for 5th is Dookie and Sticks and Stones.
Oh, for me, tied for 5th is and 4th and tied for 4th. Dude, we suck at this.
Yeah.
Well, is it really? It's tied for 4th, isn't it?
It's tied for 4th, sorry.
Yeah. So mine is Pennybridge Pioneers and Sticks and Stones.
Cool.
Mhm.
Okay. And so 3?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, me.
Yes, I've been doing it.
The Untitled Blink album.
Wow. Okay. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Mine's Open Your Eyes at 3. That's a
I'm
big
surprised.
jump.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love
Definitely.
that. Really enjoyed it going through.
And so then 2 for me is Pennybridge.
Oh, wow. That's the one. I was like, what is the, because I'm sure that we both have the same one.
Yeah.
But for me, it's the Untitled Blink album is at 2.
Yeah.
At 5.73. That's a huge jump. The gap between 2 and 3 for me is 5.73 to 5.18. That's a really big jump.
Yeah, okay. For me, the gap is from 3 to 4. It goes from 5.2 to 4.8.
Yeah. And the number 1, of course, Does This Look Infected?
Yeah.
What'd you give Does This Look Infected?
5.75.
I gave 5.92. So your Does This Look Infected is still higher than my number 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So moving forward, at the end of each episode, when we give our rankings, we're going to see, does it break into our top 10? This is our little janky system we got going so far, but it's pretty cool. Recommend you guys do it too.
Okay. The War on Errorism by NOFX.
I was thinking today when I was setting up the project files, I'm like, is it The War on Errorism or War on Errorism?
I've always said war, but when I was looking at this week, I realized there's a the.
It's the.
Yeah. Anyway.
Maybe you thought it was War on Errorism, the. We did for labeling. Yeah, for labeling purposes.
So I want to start here.
Yep.
I feel like this might be the album. There may be other ones to come later on, but of all the albums we've done so far, I feel like this may be the one, or the one that the most number of people say, why are you doing this on the Pop Punk Book Club?
100%. That's such a good point. Yeah. I've thought that, especially for NOFX as well. Like, if you're going to do a NOFX album, why that one?
Well, just more, but the band in general, I guess. Like, why?
Really? You would think NOFX as well?
Well, I'm more than happy to do it because I love the band, and I think we should try and include as many bands in the kind of like pop punk adjacent or pop punk extended universe as possible.
Yes.
But
it's like the Marvel of music.
Yeah. I just think there's a lot of good arguments for why someone would say this is a punk band, not a pop punk band.
Sure.
Yeah. Like if you think.
But that's the second half of the word, so we're good.
Yeah, true. So if we just digitally remove the word pop.
Yeah, but we could just bring in pop bands if that's the case. We're doing One Direction next week.
Yeah. Because I mean, if you
We're not doing One Direction. Are we? We are. Yeah, cool. Let's do it.
Why not?
Yeah. They do a banging cover of Teenage Dirtbag, by the way.
Oh, I would like to hear that.
It's actually really good.
Yes.
Yeah.
So does another band I know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
we actually
I wasn't talking about you. I do think though, if you think about it, like this comes out at pretty much the peak of the pop punk genre.
Yes.
This is 2003. I reckon 2002, 2003 is kind of the peak. Probably 2003 commercially is like.
I think you're right.
The peak.
That could be the year.
I reckon arguably maybe the following year when Green Day's American Idiot comes out, in terms of like mainstream commercial success, that is the actual peak, but we're getting pretty close to it at this point.
I think so, but I think at that point, and this might be a controversial take, but I think a lot of the people who were listening to pop punk and had followed the genre were starting to move toward emo. Or at least to bands like, when you say emo, I don't mean as in like screamo emo stuff. I mean as in, and sometimes, even if you notice with, when Steve-O was here and he was talking about emo, he was mentioning bands that I wouldn't really call emo. It's like everyone has subjective ideas of the genre.
Yeah, of course.
So because emo is like an older genre, that type of thing. Anyway, because Blink-182 on Dude Ranch have a song called Emo because they said it sounded like emo music and it sounds nothing like emo music that I know. Yeah. But anyway, my point is, bands like Taking Back Sunday, Brand New, that type of thing. But then if you're in the mainstream, that's when they grabbed onto bands like Green Day with American Idiot. Like,
Yes.
That was probably when I had the least to do with mainstream pop punk.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I guess my point was going to be, even though it comes out at around that point in time, NOFX, they were never on a major label. They were never an MTV TRL band.
Yeah.
They didn't really do press.
Which is wild because they were on Conan O'Brien.
They were on Conan.
Yeah.
But a lot of the hallmarks of like what made pop punk bands,
Yeah.
They don't tick a lot of those boxes.
Yeah.
And I think, I guess musically, you could also argue, I mean, particularly when you think about this album, like they're not using a lot of the pop production that we heard around that time where you had like, bands would use kind of synths underneath the guitars to kind of make it warmer and brighter.
Do you mean up until this point or even on this album?
I'd say even on this album. I mean, production-wise, this is
the most produced I've ever heard NOFX.
Sure, but even compared to other pop punk albums that were coming out around the same time, the production I think is different. And like,
but they
the
didn't
guitar
try to
tones
do.
are different. I think.
Yeah, but they didn't try to be like everyone's doing that, so let's try to do the most like gritty, rocky. Like it's clear with this that they were trying to release an album similar to what was liked at the time. Like I think it was a very intentional choice. The question I have for you though is that I think I found this I found out about this album through you.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I don't think I found this myself. This was the first NOFX album that I ever heard. And it was when I was about 14, 15 when we were hanging out. How did you find out about this album?
So coming back to Ben.
Of course,
this is one of the ones he gave me this CD for my birthday.
All right.
Must have been my 15th birthday.
Yep.
And it was my first NOFX album. So this was my introduction to NOFX.
I don't think I had heard a NOFX song before this. Like, I'm not sure if I even like the well-known ones, I heard them later.
And so I guess this was my introduction to punk as well.
Yep.
So it's like a gateway album in that sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So how did you? So you think I told you?
Yes,
about it?
I'm nearly certain that you showed me this album.
Yeah.
And
okay.
I remember I actually did really like it back in the day. Which meant for me back then, I didn't just listen to one song. I listened to 2 or 3, and on this album, I actually listened to 3 songs.
Well, there you go.
I have them written here to tell you which ones they were, but I think I might save them and drop them as we get to the songs.
Okay, yeah,
I think 2 of them one you'll definitely get, 2 you'll probably get, 3rd one I don't think you'll get.
There's 2 I know you would have listened to.
Yeah, and
one of them I definitely remember talking to you about. Yeah,
and we talked about last week.
Yeah, but I guess coming back. Oh, sorry, did I cut you off?
No. I was just saying, I hadn't heard much of this, but I did hear the 3 songs I just mentioned. Then that was not including Separation of Church and State, which is the opener,
and Skate.
Oh, sorry, Church and Skate. It's a pun on State. Sorry, my bad. That's actually in Tony Hawk's Underground, which is my favorite.
Oh yeah, okay.
Favorite Tony Hawk's game. So I actually know it from that as well.
Yep.
But I already knew that when I heard it. I was like, oh, this is on War and Errorism.
Yeah,
like
right.
I knew that from there. But yeah, I didn't know anything else about this album other than that.
So I guess then coming back to the point that I was making earlier about, there's really good arguments for why this is not a pop punk band or a pop punk album. Why are we doing it on the book club? Well, I think if you don't agree with the band.
This argument is just between you and yourself. You know what? No, actually, fuck you. This is damn. Nobody said that. Calm down, man.
Calm down. Melodically, you can't deny that. Like, this is catchy as all hell.
Oh.
And NOFX music generally is catchy as all hell.
Yeah.
And also,
people have said that. They're like, NOFX is not pop punk on our videos. But as I said, it's adjacent. But that's all about perspective.
Yeah.
Like, if you were in the 90s and you listened to all the punk bands and then you hear NOFX, you'd be like, oh, that's a poppier version of punk. And it would probably be like, they might have been considered pop punk back in the day.
Absolutely.
And this is the poppest I've heard NOFX. It's produced, it's clean, it's got clear melodies. They even have, like, in some songs, like, single like predictable structure, which is typically, we'll get to later, but NOFX typically don't do that.
Well, only on some songs.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But they still did it. That's why I wonder why they did it. Is it because they were like, we want a piece of the pie that's currently really popular at the moment and we could make people like it? Because I understand, like, you could say it's ironic. We'll get to it later, but Franco and American isn't an ironic song. That's a big political statement. So I think they were genuinely trying to do something. Otherwise, they could have been like, this is our middle finger to the industry and we're just going to like stay punk and stay loud. But they did a really polished production. They kept it in a very political perspective.
Yeah.
But it's also just still, I think it seems to me so intentional.
I don't
Surprising
know.
you said they're not signed to a major label because this seems like a major label influenced release.
Oh, no, they've always been independent for sure. And like,
Yeah, right.
and Fat Mike's specifically talked about like, not wanting to be like an MTV band. And so I'm not sure.
But why
I
do
agree.
this then? That's what I'm confused about.
I just don't know. I don't agree that. Well, I mean, I don't really know, but I would be surprised if they were sort of after a piece of the pie, particularly when you think that
Maybe the label
like
was.
the opening track of this, but it's this was released on Fat Mike's label.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah. So this
Okay.
was they were on Epitaph.
Yeah.
Until
Sorry, I thought this was Epitaph.
yeah, no. So
Yeah.
this was their first album after they left Epitaph, and this was released on Fat. Is it pronounced Fat Records or is
Yeah,
it
Fat Records.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Fat
written-
Rec Chords, yeah.
anyway.
This is their 9th studio album. That was
Which is
mind blowing
nuts.
to me, yeah.
But I when you think like the opening track of this album is like a slap in the face of, in particular, like the way the punk genre was going, and
Yeah.
in particular,
Yeah.
I think they must be referring to the pop punk genre.
Yeah, I agree.
And then
think-
later on the song, we'll get to it, but there's another song, Mediocre, which is another clear kind of
Jab at the industry.
Yeah. So
Do you think maybe it's like, let's wrap up our message in a package that everyone's already kind of wanting? So it's like, it makes it more accessible. So let's get it in their ears and then we'll tell them what we actually feel.
yeah, maybe.
Because it just seems so polished. It's such a polished album.
But is it?
There's like glockenspiel in bits. And there's like girls singing and stuff. Like it's so much creativity.
I still think though the production is different to the sort of production we were hearing on a bunch of albums that came out around the time.
Right.
I guess it's like it's all a bit of a spectrum, really.
Yeah.
Like obviously it's
But-
not produced to the level of Enema of the State.
Yeah, but even with polished production, like Pennybridge Pioneers was out at a similar time, a bit before, but still a similar time, only a few
Yeah.
years. And it has like big backing vocals and stuff, but it doesn't have like, let's bring in a girl singer, let's have, as it says, xylophone or glockenspiel or whatever,
Yeah.
and like other little production stuff where we'll get to it, but it's like so much production. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I really like it.
Yeah.
But it just seems intentional. You don't accidentally fall into this sound. It seems like they had
Yeah.
a creative vision, almost like how Blink approached, not to that extreme, but to how Blink approached the self-titled album, where it's like, let's write what the song needs rather than just writing a punk album. Like it seems more intentional.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the thing. What I'm noticing.
Interestingly, it's produced by the same guy that produced
Punk and Drublick. That's my next note. Yeah, that was so surprising to me too. Again, because also Punk and Drublick is quite a raw sounding album with loud
definitely.
noises, loud guitars.
Yep.
Like some of the guitar sounds sound like mosquitoes in a tin kind of thing, like as they're doing it. But yeah, I think it's a fantastic sounding record. It's loud, it's in your face and everything. Yeah.
I guess another reason though for doing it on the book club is, and albums like Punk and Drublick, we'll definitely do those at some stage. But you can't deny the influence that NOFX had on the bands that kind of did define the pop punk genre. So like, Blink has specifically said that NOFX was a band that they loved. I'm pretty sure Sum 41, it's the same situation.
Yeah, didn't Stevo say that's the whole reason they were a band? Because of NOFX.
Yeah.
They saw them live and like, we should make a band.
Yes.
Yep. Hugely influential.
Hugely influential.
I think there's some
probably
people,
not this album in particular, but something like Punk and Drublick, obviously.
I would love to know what NOFX fans thought of this album when it came out, because
good point.
It's maybe they would just dismiss it as, oh wow, NOFX have gone super polished and sold out maybe. But it's so political that it's like, it's definitely making a point. It's not just, hey, we're going to write about girls and skateboarding and getting dumped, as they say in the Still Waiting film clip. But it's that type of thing of, I want to know how they felt about this. But I think that NOFX have always been such an influential band that I think a lot of people see us do older albums like Smash, Dookie, etc., and go like, why? That's more punk than pop punk. Do the new Neck Deep album or something like that. And we'll get to that. But setting up the podcast, we want to do the influential albums that, the whole reason you like the bands you like today is because of bands like this in the past sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So we were talking about turning this into the literal book club, which it kind of is already. I've got another book to talk to you about.
Yes,
this week.
We should. That's actually a bookshelf. We need to have a little library.
Yeah. So this week we have NOFX, The Hepatitis Bathtub and Other Stories, which is I've only recently got, so I haven't read all of it yet. But it's basically like an autobiography of the band, but it's told by all four members. So it's like they take it in turns. Like one chapter's by Fat Mike, another chapter's by Smelly, another chapter's by Melvin, etc. And so it's like kind of like their own autobiographies, as well as like the band's journey.
That's cool.
Super cool. So I get this and took it away with me this weekend to Sydney, and we're all staying in the one room. And I was like getting Evelyn dressed one morning, and Jess just needed to like distract Owen for a little while. And I gave her this book because I just read a little bit of this to him. Read the first the first line of the very first chapter, like the opening to the book. I'm like, just start reading chapter 1 to him and we'll just like occupy him for a little while.
You decided to read this to him?
Just read it.
Talking about rock bottom
Just read
parenting,
it.
good
Just read
parents
it.
decision?
Just read it.
I just saw the first bit. Chapter 1, Mike. The first time I drank piss was on a fire escape overlooking downtown Los Angeles.
So Jess starts reading this and she's obviously looking at it and like looking ahead. Like her mind was going like faster than her like the words were coming out of her mouth.
Yeah.
And so she gets to like the first time I drank and then just went,
Well, I'm telling you, it looks like a kid's book, but if you're talking about in the moment how to distract a kid, I would have started tap dancing before I reached for the NOFX hepatitis bathtub book.
There is another part of this.
You know what? I'm intrigued. I want to read that book now. Like
you need to.
If you want to talk about a gripping opening line.
Yeah. Like I said, I haven't read all of it yet, but from what I've read so far, it is super entertaining.
That's what I thought it would be.
Pretty dark at times.
Right.
And super... I guess they're all reflecting on, like a number of them have had substance abuse issues and stuff like they're reflecting on that kind of stuff. But there is one particularly funny part that I want you to read. So start by reading the bottom paragraph.
I can't believe you dog your chapters. It's lost respect.
To be honest, I did that one just because I knew it was going to piss you off.
Where am I reading from?
The last paragraph
All right.
of that page.
I celebrated our first sold-out Gilman show by stealing someone's van. DJ and I decided we needed a box of wine, so we hopped in the first thing with wheels and drunkenly tore down the streets of Berkeley. We didn't realize some kid was sleeping in the back. He woke up to us riding on the sidewalks, hitting trash cans, hanging out the door, and climbing onto the hood. He screamed in terror, but we refused to let him out. I vaguely remember getting out of the van and kicking the passenger door in. I'm not sure if I stopped on my own or if DJ or the kid in the back somehow stopped me. All I know is that DJ and I and our hostage are lucky to be alive.
But wait.
But that sounds like, can I just say, like exactly what you thought the lifestyle was back then. Like in Tony Hawk's Underground 2, where you're like on the road with Bam Margera's team, where they're just getting up to mayhem, like Jackass style. Like that's them living that dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a story by Smelly, who's the drummer.
Yeah.
And this is him writing later in the book. And so just read the last 2 paragraphs of that page.
When I arrived at the Whiskey for my first sober show, Billy Joe from Green Day seemed a bit jumpy. We caught up for a while and he breathed a sigh of relief when he found out I had gone sober. He confessed he was scared to play the show with us. Confused, I asked him why. It turned out that when I stole the van that drunkenly smashed my way through the streets of Berkeley, Billy was my backseat hostage.
How good's that?
It was Billy Joe Armstrong.
It was Billy Joe, yeah.
Wow. You know, from his book, he's going to be like, one night I fell asleep in the back of a van and woke up to NOFX hitting like trash cans and sliding through Hollywood or whatever, Berkeley.
I think Billy Joe was a nobody at that point. Like I think it was before Granddad broken.
I feel like when you're around that scene though, there's so many crossovers in that.
Yes, particularly that scene in particular, like around Gilman. I think we spoke about Gilman on the Dookie episode. Like it was a venue in Berkeley where like a lot of punk bands played.
Where's Berkeley again? It's California?
Yeah.
We don't know what we're talking about.
I think California.
We'll just say yes. Alrighty, so the separation of church and skate. I got to write this down. First track of the album.
Yeah. Crown.
I give this a crown as well.
Yeah. Another great opener.
It's amazing. And it's not, I don't know, if you compare it to the others, it's like a low-key good opener. Like, it's obviously a crown, but like it's not a big, loud, in-your-face pop song. It's just loud and aggressive and punchy, which can sometimes make it seem less likable, but they've done it so well. It goes to show they're 9 albums in, but they're like masters of what they do.
For sure.
Yeah.
How good is the little intro at the start with the, hey kids, hey dad. I love how it ties in to what the song's all about. Like this idea that like a parent's going to take their kids to a punk rock show and how that's kind of like...
You want to go to the punk rock show? Yeah. It's like Leave It to Beaver or whatever. That type of old stuff.
Punk is now like this kind of like sanitized
that's a good point. I never thought of it like that. It's become like a family-friendly kind of thing. I didn't get the irony of that.
Yeah.
My note was interesting that the context isn't separated. Like they didn't put this as track 1 and then into...
So I anticipated we may have arguments about this.
No, of course not. But it's that should not be considered context. It's part of the song. Yeah. But it would have saved it from getting a slightly lower rating because the max you can give it is 5. Yeah. They knew when they wrote this album in the future, there'll be a thing called the Pop Punk Book Club. And the other band's like, why would they do our album? It's like, trust me, they will.
What a great way to build tension as well when the song comes in and you've got that kind of like slow drum roll. Yeah. That kind of goes for kind of like maybe like 1 bar more than it probably needs to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's no cigar-esque with that compression kind of build up. Yeah. And the it just starts pumping you up. It's also just a great opening statement, as you said, about the industry and their position on it, for them to come out and say, and I've loved that. I've really loved that. And I think it's the bands that maybe some people, I don't know, we both love Blink-182 so much, but people would always kind of be like, oh, Blink are good, but I haven't listened to them much since Dude Ranch, that type of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
But then you have bands, they listen to Green Day, they listen to like Dookie, they listen to Smash, etc., and NOFX, bands like that. Because I feel like bands like this have something to say, and their first track is usually a statement on what the record's going to be. And I don't think Blink do that very much. There's like, here's a love song, here's a good song, sort of thing. Maybe that's what makes poppier punk versus pop punk, And
I guess, well, punk bands, they don't really write about love and girls and that sort of thing, whereas pop punk bands pretty much almost exclusively do. Yeah.
Actually, yeah. But I think that it's such a good statement. There are so many lines out of this that I want to kind of pull out and just could talk about how much I love them. Like, for example, I love the line that says, cursing and birds are not allowed. In fact, let's keep the noise levels down.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I love that thing of where it's like a side note thought. It's like, you're not allowed to do this. In fact, let's just keep the levels down. It's like that thing of just being controlled, feeling like that punk has lost its element. Because honestly, that's a perspective that we wouldn't have had when we were younger. But they may have felt like that their scene has been taken off them and commercialized. And they're like, what happened? This statement is not just a defiant statement. It's a possession thing of, I want to hold on to what we once had, and you've changed it.
That's such a good point. And I've come to appreciate that through like these last few episodes of the book club that we've done, like from this album and also Smash.
Yeah.
And also Dookie to some extent. Like just from like going back and in the context of like preparing for the episode, reading a bit about the history of the scene around that time and like growing to appreciate how much it changed from like...
I have definite, even though I didn't rate Smash that highly, I have such an appreciation for what, just understanding the history of... Have you noticed that since starting this book club, we've both started reading books on punk rock history, naturally wanting it? Like, not just to talk about it here, but we just, to appreciate what came, like the forefathers of what we ended up loving and understanding where they came from.
And I can completely understand like why people were so kind of put off by what happened like when Blink releases Enema and they're like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, but I would never have, genuinely, up until probably us starting the book club, I wouldn't have understood why. I'm like, why? It's a great sounding album. It's probably one of my favorite albums ever. Like we'll have to find out where that sits when we eventually get around to it, but we love that album so much. It's maybe the perfect pop punk record. Like, why would you not like it? It's kind of like objectively bangers, like a banging album. Like, why? But now I understand because it's more than that. It's like the pop punk politics of
it goes against everything bands like NOFX stood for.
Yeah, the core values of the culture, so to speak. I love where it says, "I want conflict, I want dissent, I want the scene to represent our hatred of authority."
That is my favorite part of the song.
Is it?
Yeah, but more particularly not just the lyrics, but also how it takes off when he says,
hatred of authority, I think that part.
I think it's the line before. No, sorry, you're right. It is.
Yeah,
it takes off with our hatred of authority.
Which kind of says something to me. And I think I'm right with this, but it's just a weird thing to kind of comment on. I think that the way that the lyrics are actually structured in this song seems, which is awesome, that it's written like in a notebook first and then fit from that into the song. Because it's an awkward break. He doesn't finish his statement, then when it gets loud, come in with a new line. It's like wants him to represent our hatred of authority when it comes into the loud bit. So he's halfway through a line at that point because it seems like it's written and he's trying to force it. Not force it, but he's trying to like make it fit the song rather than write lyrics to fit the song, which to me says he's gotten angry one night and written this all down and like, this are my thoughts. I'm going to make it work. Which makes it feel more authentic and honest.
Completely agree. And I think he does that a number of times throughout this album.
Yeah.
I think that's, as you say, it kind of does make it seem more authentic because sometimes it could do the opposite of what you were saying.
Yeah.
Where you're trying to shoehorn something in to fit the line.
Yeah.
But I agree. It's like he's written these things down just because it's honestly how he felt.
Yeah, it's like a journal entry. It's his actual thoughts. And then the song is just a way for him to bring that message forward. Not like, okay, I know what I want to write. Now let me write a song or a verse that fits that. I really like the line that says, when did punk rock become so tame? These fucking bands all sound the same. Which is really interesting for them to say that on such a polished album, I found. Which I think is awesome. And it's well done for him to do it because I don't feel like that's hypocritical or whatever. I think it's more irony of like, these bands all sound the same. Like, and it's like he's meeting them in their own sphere and beating them in their own sphere. Like we're stepping into your polished sound and bringing our message to you. Like you can't run from us sort of thing. It feels a bit like that.
Yeah, right.
Which I respect because that could sound like I'm saying that's hypocritical, to say they all sound the same and then they have a polished sound. The part where he says, these fucking records rated G. Yes. I always thought that lyric said, this fucking record's rated G. And I'm like, what a funny line to put in an album. Like, used to swear like that and say, this fucking record's rated G. which is so funny, but it's not. I mean, I was disappointed when I realized that it's not that.
Yeah.
But it made me laugh.
But even like the line,
I think it makes more sense the way they've written it.
Stop singing songs about girls and love. You killed the owl, you freed the dove. Like that's going back to what we were saying before about how that's pop.
Yeah.
It's what pop punk bands wrote about.
So now Will Sasso in the Still Waiting clip where he's like, I'm sure it's great. All kinds of songs about skateboarding and getting dumped.
Yeah.
He seemed like he's out of touch with the industry. Maybe he's just a big punk rock fan. Do you know what I mean? Like he's not liking it that way.
I love how Fat Mike adds in like such specific references to people and other bands and albums.
Yep.
Like the line here, when did punk rock become so safe? I know it wasn't Dwayne or Fletcher. Like Fletcher's obviously a reference to Fletcher from Pennywise. Yeah. Is that why you wore the shirt?
Oh yeah, I knew you were going to say that.
I think that's so cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I genuinely, I don't want to give away all my notes for this, but one of a reoccurring theme on this is just Fat Mike is an excellent storyteller. Like every song is just so vividly told that you're there with him when he's telling it. It's not like, I don't know, because he could just be like, some people's lyrical substance gets as deep as authority and they just keep saying that over and over again, which is a powerful message, I guess. But he's like, here's why, and here's how authority affects people, and here's their stories sometimes in later songs, and like this is how it actually appears to me, and this is through my perspective, but in a way that'll actually resonate with you. And I think that's so much deeper than maybe he comes off, because he sometimes comes off as having fun on stage and just playing punk rock and being silly. But he's got a lot of depth in the stuff he's writing.
Oh yeah,
yeah, which I think is super unassuming.
All right, the irrationality of rationality.
Yeah, I gave this one a great.
Okay, I did too.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Nice. We're on. We're up 2 tracks in and we're on with the same
Could this be
rating.
the album?
This could be it. What is it? 9 albums in? Let's see if we get one.
Lyrically, this might be the darkest song ever written of all time.
Right. Okay. No, just on this album. I said
this song is
amazing, hard-hitting lyrics. Yeah. It's that's what I'm talking about. Is that like people could just write a similar sounding song about anti-corporations and anti-corporate lifestyle.
Yes.
But he goes into the exact story of like, here's the ethical repercussions of this and here's the situation. It's like, it's way deeper. Like he has ethical questions in here and situations. And
it's someone, like going back to what you're saying about being such a good storyteller, it's like he's conveying his message through the story of a person.
Yes.
And here we've got like 3 different people and they're at kind of different levels of like the corporate structure.
Yeah.
Is the other kind of way. Yeah.
That part, when it says about the girl in the final story about how she shot up, what's it say? But when she shot the family and moved into their home, their paper read, she suffered from dementia. That's such a hard-hitting thing of like how they will twist a narrative to say that, oh, she's just mentally unstable when she's driven unstable potentially by the world that they live in. Obviously, that's the ethical kind of consideration there. It's just so deep on a second track, on a polished sounding. And then like, you know, coming up next is Franco and American, like, which is more poppy and more happy. But you're right, this is such a dark song.
But also with that, the line about she suffered from dementia, then the song just abruptly ends.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It leaves you just hanging like a poem, like a really well-read poem. Yeah.
You're just left with this feeling of like just emptiness.
Yeah.
Like,
and also like despair. Like it's like a pit in the stomach kind of, oh wow, that I did not expect it to go that way. And also you're kind of angry at the culture and like the way that people frame stuff. And like you don't understand. Like you kind of get into the mindset of Fat Mike's angst. Now this is the thing. So this is obviously a very left kind of album, especially for the time, because it's against George Bush, right? And we're not from America, but he was a Republican, right? So it's the right-wing stuff. And I mean, this is the thing. I mean, being in Australia, we have quite different political compasses to how we can't fit under the like lefty or righty kind of categories that they apply to themselves in America. But still, I mean, that means I don't agree with everything he says, but I can see through his perspective how persuasive his argument is, if you know what I mean, because of like, I can go, wow, I would never have thought that, but now hearing the way you put it, I'm going to consider that a bit more. You know what I mean? Like I hadn't seen it that way. Talking about last week about Open Your Eyes, how they tried to ham fist, just blow that when I do it. They tried to like, kind of, is ham fist the right word? Like kind of like force.
I don't think that's.
They want to open your eyes to animal
cruelty. They want to force it down
your
throat. I think
exactly. Force it down your throat. That's what I was looking for. But this is more like, hey, have you considered this position? Have you considered this where we are? Yeah.
I think though, like the lyrics, not just on this song, but for a number of the tracks on this album, like they've actually aged extremely well. Because like the stories that he's talking about in this song are equally applicable 20 years later.
Yes, absolutely.
There's a timelessness to what, like the themes and what he's exploring in this album.
I wonder what they'd write now, like based on the same type of issues, if they would go to write another political album. I don't know much about NOFX. Like I know, they're well-known songs, and I know this album probably better than any other album that they've done. But I don't know if they've done other really political albums or if this is just kind of one. But it was so down your throat of like the war on errorism. George Bush is on the cover. Yeah. There was also those albums that came out, the Rock Against Bush compilations that a bunch of bands got on. So it was a lot of like deliberate punk rock against the Bush administration.
And around the time of this album, they were doing, I think it was called Punk Voter, which was basically a movement to get people to vote in the 2004 election to vote against Bush, like specifically campaigning against Bush and trying to mobilize punk fans to kind of vote that way.
That's cool.
I think they've done political songs throughout their career, but this feels like the most they've kind of like dialed
the whole
up.
album is the theme. Yeah. Have you noticed that in the verses of this that it speeds up? The drums like he actually like speeds up a little bit and then it kind of goes back in. It's very rushed, but it's so controlledly rushed that I think it was intentional, and it just adds this sense of like anxiety and urgency to the song rather than just keeping a straight beat. Which when the whole band comes in, it's perfectly in time, but it's when it has the vocals and I think it's bass or guitar or something over it, and it's just he speeds the drums up.
Interesting.
And then catches it again when the band comes in. It's really clever how they did it. I also think it's an uncharacteristically beautiful bridge. I didn't expect the bridge to be so pretty.
Doesn't it hit you?
Yeah, because of the story is so gripping. You're with him wherever he takes you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But those strings, it gives like another heaviness to the song, doesn't it?
Because you don't expect that in an NOFX song. That's what I was saying with the production. They've really intentionally come in with to move people. You know what I mean? Like, I think maybe that's it. It's because they have a political message to push. They're trying to make it accessible. Who knows? But yeah.
Speaking of the verses, I didn't notice the bit about the drum speeding up, but did you notice the bass line, the Fat Mike's playing under the verse? It's so interesting.
Is it the doo-doo-doo-doo? Is that the guitar or the bass that does that?
I assumed it was a bass.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So I know what you're talking about.
It's just such a unique riff that he's 100%. Playing on. Like he could easily have just played single notes underneath a verse. You know what I mean? Instead, he's playing this like lick.
There's some really interesting bass lines in this album, but also the bass tones that he chooses. But that's the thing also in Separation of Church and State, the bass line in that one. I keep saying state. That's obviously what they're trying to do. Separation of Church and Skate.
I can see what you're doing.
But I'm going to get it wrong every time. Separation of Church and Skate, when they get the halftime bit at the end, it cuts back and the bass does the it has such a huge distortion on it. Yeah. Like he's really gone and picked out his bass sounds. Yeah. It's really interesting when you hear albums that you know that the lead singer is the bass player. There's some really, even with Blink where Mark sings, there's a lot, it's like they just subconsciously want to sing through their bass as well because there's so much thought put behind the bass sounds and bass lines and stuff. You hear more of people that, Starting Line 2 did that because he's a singer of that, yeah. Alrighty, so Franco Un-American.
I said Crown.
I said Crown too. We're still on. Okay. I considered a flame for this because I love this song so much. This is one of the ones, first song that I listened to a lot when I was younger.
Yeah, I thought
it's I thought maybe a flame just for the nostalgia, but I just don't think it holds up among the other flames that I have in my flame playlist.
Yeah. It was the song that got me into the album. And that makes sense because it's the poppiest song on the album.
Yes, and which again, maybe that's it. Maybe we're figuring it out, but maybe that's what made the messaging so accessible. Was here's a pop song. If we have to do it for you to understand, like listen to the lyrics, and then we're going to make it so because the lyrics aren't dark in this. It's more like it's kind of like we don't like how the world is, but it doesn't get to like what the last song got to.
Yes, there's more of an irony in these lyrics.
Yeah, but starting with, I never thought about the universe. It made me feel small. Like that's a really cool thing of like, you may feel this way and not think about problems, but now you can see that here's why.
Yeah, sure.
I've been through this journey and here I've come out the other side. Here's what I've learned and perhaps you might feel the same.
Yep.
There's so many good parts in this song. But do you know how the part where in the second verse where it says, I never looked around, never second guessed, then I read some Howard Zinn, now I'm always depressed. And now I can't sleep from years of apathy, all because I read a little Noam Chomsky.
Yeah.
Right? So when I was younger, I didn't know who Noam Chomsky was.
Yeah.
And I put up on my MSN status one time, all because I read a little Noam Chomsky. And I had people messaging me being like, oh, I didn't know you were read like that, like Noam Chomsky. What books have you read by Noam Chomsky? I'm like, none. Like, I just like NOFX. But that was the lyric I put up. What's even funnier is that I did, because I was away this weekend, as I was saying, guys, we could have just been like, oh, we can't do this week, but we did it anyway. I had to do my official ratings in the car on the way down to Canberra.
Right.
So I was listening to the songs in the car, and I've already had thoughts about them. I know the album, so I wasn't like I was hearing it for the first time. But I'd hear it and then just say to Kate, I pause it and she'd go, yep, get a notes app out. And I go, can you just write down for the number 3, just the next one? I was like, can you write down 6? Because 6 is a crown. Then I would say stuff like potential flame, blah, 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 blah. Just read out a few notes, right? And she'd write down, then I interpreted them later. And I said, can you write down potential flame, Noam Chomsky? She's like, what? I'm like, Noam Chomsky, the writer and the author? And she's like, no. And I was like, oh, okay. Just write down Noam, like Chomsky, and I'll get it, right? And she goes, okay, cool. Because I wanted to say that point about MSN. And she wrote down GNOME, like a gnome in a garden, and then Chomsky. Noam Chomsky. Oh, it's so cute, man. Oh, it's funny. But how funny is in the song that he gives, I loved it when I was a kid, and I still do now, but he gives Australia a shout out.
Yes.
Where he says, I want to move north, and I don't even look at lyrics, I just know them, and be a Canadian or hang down low with the nice Australians. Good on us.
It was always like, yeah, when you hear that.
Australia. Should be our little national anthem.
It's funny though, like it was definitely the song that got me into the album and the one that I listened to the most when I used to listen to this album. But now, even though it's still a crown, it's not one of the songs that I kind of like look forward to listening to when I put the album on.
True. But there's no denying it's a banger. Like, is that kind of where you're at?
Exactly.
Yeah,
you can't deny it. I mean, it's the most anthemic song on the album. Yeah, it's got such a like even just like with the synth line.
Yeah.
There's something
it's almost Newfound Glory-esque with the synth line, like failure's not flattering.
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Did you know that MXPX, I think, did a cover of this?
No.
No, for real. I'm going to show you it just because I want to show you it. So we won't be able to play it on the podcast, unfortunately, due to like copyright strikes. So I'm going to show it to Sam and then we'll come back straight after. But I recommend anyone who hasn't checked it out, go and look for the song called Franco Un-American by MXPX. So strange. And the cover even has...
strange that it's called Franco Un-American?
No, but the MXPX covered the song.
Oh,
but
sorry,
when you hear it, it's not the same lyrics. It's really, really cool.
Yes. Okay, I had heard that. Yep.
Franco Un-American.
That's so cool.
It's cool, man, isn't it? No Australian shout out.
Yeah, I know. That's sad.
But it did it. I love it when taking a song like that, it just makes it seem so iconic that a band's like, we want to do our version of it. Because it's like the template for political frustration, perhaps. And it's like, sing the chorus about how this is un-American and here's the verses of how we fit it. I love when they do that and then reference, I'm listening to Anti-Flag and NOFX, because it's the original NOFX song. So cool. But it's MXPX is so good, and what a band to cover it too. It's not like an upcoming band that's tried something. It's just a really, really cool,
like a veteran band covering.
So many good lines like never looked around, never second guessed, and I read the YouTube comments. Now I'm always depressed. It's funny. It's just really cool. It's such a nice sounding song. But in the bridge where it goes, that's no way to go, Franco Un-American.
Yep.
Do you remember when they did Conan? Like what they sang on Conan? That is wild. Genuinely, I reckon they've come off air from that, and the producers like, who said that NOFX could go on, but who also would not have expected them when they've got imagery of George Bush dressed up as a clown with like pies to the face as a clown, that they're not going to have like a complete go at the president while they're on the air. But it was so brutal what they said on that thing, and it got bleeped and stuff. But it's just when I was younger, I was like, that's really funny that they did that. But now,
did it get bleeped?
I'm not sure. Maybe I can have a look. Do they talk about it in their book?
Yeah, I'll show you.
Really? So yeah, it is bleeped. Obviously, couldn't play that on the podcast either. But the you see that little grin he gets on his face when he says it. He's like, "I know, here's my time." He just doesn't give a shit. Like he's just on.
And then he kind of laughs at the end.
Yeah. Because it's like he knew going on stage. You give me a platform, I'm going to be saying what I need to say. It's like you get fat mic humor. I genuinely have to form a lineup of like the most unhinged kind of like dudes in a band. You got Fat Mike on bass, you got Fletcher on guitar. Who else fills that band of intimidating dudes that you won't be able to trust what they're going to do or say?
He talks about, they're booked to play late night, and he says, "We will be playing the song Franco Un-American from our new album, The War on Errorism. The song isn't specifically about Bush, but in the course of performing it live on the Punk Voter tour, I had changed the lyrics of the bridge to, quote, we all know George Bush is an imbecile. He loves dick but hates homosexuals."
Is it dick? I thought he says he loves cock, and that's what they blurred.
No, so it's dick, and you'll hear why. It was an obvious play on the first name of Vice President Dick Cheney.
Dick Cheney, yeah.
But I thought some uptight network standards and practices people might not appreciate my clever turn of phrase. I made sure to specifically ask the censors about it, and readily offered to change the words because I'd rather sing a different line than be bleeped. But they insisted the lyrics were acceptable.
Wow, okay. I thought this was just a complete act of defiance. Yeah.
The mother bleepers bleeped me. And not only that, they bleeped the word from in the line, I eat no breath mints because they're from dehoofed horses.
Yeah, what?
That one remains a mystery. Yeah.
Wow.
And when you listen to the recording, it is, but maybe it was like
A slip?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
We all wore anti-Bush shirts and we had a flag with a picture of Bush's face painted like a clown draped over our keyboard. And the second line of our bridge, quote, we're sick and tired of the embarrassment. The whole world wants us to get a better president.
Yeah.
Was delivered intact. So we made as broad a statement as we possibly could with our 2.5 minutes of airtime. After we finished, Conan shook our hands and went to commercial. The show's booker, Debbie of Wunder, was a friend of ours. And months later, she told us there was a joke going around the show's office about bands that wouldn't be invited to play on the show. People would say, quote, oh yeah, we'll have them back right after we have NOFX play again.
That's so good. I didn't know it was so respectful though. Like him really trying to make sure that he's like, I just don't want to be bleeped. Like we want our message to be heard.
Yes.
But still got bleeped.
Yeah.
It made it sound worse though. If he said that same line without it being bleeped, you would understand the play on words. But when it's bleeped, as I said before, I thought he said something else. I actually thought he was actually calling the president out in that way. I thought he was just making a statement that, like making a political statement in that regard.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, the idiots are taking... I'm trying to get you while you're drinking. Alrighty, so the idiots are taking over.
Flame.
No way.
Yep.
Oh, we diverge here. I'm sorry.
Oh, where have you gone?
I didn't expect this to be a flame for you.
Yeah.
I gave this one a great.
Great.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
So these lyrics are my favorite lyrics from a punk song ever.
Really?
Absolutely love them.
Okay.
Yeah. And I've always felt like just a real connection to this song for some reason.
You know what's really funny?
Yep.
This is the song out of the entire album that through the week has been stuck in my head.
Okay.
Is this one. I've had it just in my head all week. But I gave it a great. It's the same thing with there's a song from Newfound Glory as well that I had in my head all week that wasn't something that I rated a crown, I don't think. It was still great songs seem to be catchy because they've got something different about them. I don't know. But anyway.
Fat Mike is like clearly obviously highly intelligent.
Yes.
But also super thoughtful.
Yeah.
And the song is so emotive in terms of like the way he sings it as well.
It's again just really like it's very Liszt-like lyrics. I'm hearing like not that they would have probably been influenced by them, but a lot of similarity between this style of lyric writing and like Motion City Soundtrack. Like that same Liszt, like here's the vivid storytelling through the like unique lyrics.
Hyper specific.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and that's what makes them so unique.
Yeah.
Yeah. I said it's like a solid, interesting left perspective again, like his perspective of that type of side of the political coin, so to speak. I think it's a really well-written story that kind of explains why. And it's rather than just saying, I don't like the right or, President Bush or whatever. A lot of people just make that statement and you kind of have to figure out the rest. But he's like, let me tell you why. I've got receipts, I've got stories, I've got, I've got it all figured out. Yeah, exactly. And it's compelling what he's saying.
Yeah.
Like it's very moving.
And I think as well, like, so this comes out when I'm 15, which that's like when you're kind of like moving into that time when you kind of like, you are a little bit like anti-authority and, and so I think it just kind of always spoke to me.
So you loved this when you were younger too?
Yeah. This was, one of my favorite songs on the album.
Wow, okay. I never knew that. That's news to me.
My favorite part of the song is when it comes out of the bridge.
Yeah.
And he's singing it kind of softly. He's like, sometimes the smallest, softest voice carries the grand, and then it kicks in, and that's when he goes, biggest solutions.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's just kind of like one of those moments where it just like really hits you. It's
Yeah.
so good.
That's probably what takes it to a flame for you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that, and I've always kind of just love the lyrics.
Yes, it's very good lyrics.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I just love all the stuff where he's talking about like the world just keeps getting dumber. You know what I mean? That type of thing.
It's so clever. Like Darwin's rolling over in his coffin as the fittest are surviving much less often.
Yeah, that's a good line, eh? Yeah. The part that made me laugh the most, I could go through all the lyrics. We could do that for the whole album.
We could, yeah.
I didn't expect this album to be the album that I say that about. You know what I mean? I listened to this a bit when I was younger, and I've listened to it a couple of times through since then. But again, I was just listening for it to be a good song in the background. Of not actually paying attention, reading the lyrics. And this, I was saying always that Dookie was my standard. I think we might have a new winner here. One thing that did make me laugh though, and this is going to be so niche, and it may only be our Australian viewers that understand this.
Okay.
But when he said, now angry mob mentality is no longer the exception, it's the rule, which is cool. That's a good lyric.
Yep.
And I'm starting to feel a lot like Charlton Heston stranded on the primate planet. Charlton Heston or Richard Burton? No, Charlton Burton. Do you remember that?
No?
Please tell me, how do you not know that? Then again, I stole your DVD for about 12 years, so you never actually got it back. It's Lennon Woodley.
Oh,
Where he's
okay.
like, Charlton, it's either Charlton Heston or Richard Burton. He's like, no, it was Charlton Burton. And then when he's backstage and he's like talking to the girl, being like, we take Max Factor 44, darling. And she's like, you can go and wait in there. There's tea in the urn if you want it. And he's like, the host walks by and goes, oh, on the phone, Charlton, darling, of course. And he's like, does he know Charlton Heston? She goes, no, Charlton Burton. So funny. Anyway.
I just feel like I let you down when I forget the Leno and Woodley, obscure references.
As I was saying before, you lent me your DVD of that.
Yeah.
And that was the notorious thing of like, I think I was like in my 20s before I gave it back to you and you lent it to me when we were like 14.
Isn't it weird how like kids aren't going to have that? Like that phenomena of like when there was physical media and like, you lent your CD to someone and you never get it back.
I lent Final Fantasy VIII on PlayStation 1 to one of my friends and never got it back. And it's so annoying because then he talks to him and like, oh, I don't remember you even lending it to me. It's like, I did and I never got it back. So annoying.
I'd lend all my CDs to Kale and then find them like lying around his car, like underneath the seats. They're all like scratched up.
He did say that when I was like, did you steal Sam's CDs? Like, I either stole them or ruined them. So yeah, of course. Not even apologetic. But speaking of Lennon Woodley, a lot of people talk about all the time of like the best comedy export out of Australia, and like especially with TV shows and that. And what do most people say?
Dame Edna.
What?
What were you going to say?
Summer Heights High.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I think before that it was Dame.
Yeah, true. But that's
Dame.
the thing. Dame?
Edna?
That's their first name. Yeah, Sir. Sir, you know who I'm talking about. Sir Emma Cullen.
Summer Heights High. Yeah, okay.
A lot of people.
Certainly in modern times.
Well, I mean, I played video games online one time with some friends. I played League of Legends with them and it was in America. Like a group of them were. And one of the guys was, his name was Marlon. And he was talking about how he's like, oh, you're from Australia. He's like, do you know about Summer Heights High? I'm like, how do you know about Summer Heights High? And he's like, oh man, do you have to know, you know what Summer Heights High is about? Like, and he loved Jonah and thought it was so funny. But Summer Heights High is amazing. It's the most accurate portrayal of Australian schools. Like it's so real to what like high school really is. It's good. But I want to argue that I actually think the first season of The Adventures of Leno and Woodley is one of the best written like 90s sitcoms that is so underrated. Like people always praise TV shows like Seinfeld for their really clever, intricate weaving in and out storyline writing. Leno and Woodley did that as well.
They did, for sure.
And they were never held to the same. Obviously, Seinfeld is massively high. But like people who know Adventures of Leno and Woodley love it. Like and love the show. And they're like cult fans. I nearly went to their apartment. It's in Melbourne. I know the address, and you can go to the actual apartment.
Is the building still there?
Yeah.
Right.
It's the
Surprised it hasn't been torn down and rebuilt.
Yeah, rebuilt or something. But no, it's actually there, and it's a real thing. But yeah, I really think that the Lennon Woodley TV show is something that if you are just listening now, and you could, I don't know where you could even, I don't think it's even on streaming, but
probably not.
If you can find it somehow,
it might be on YouTube though now.
Maybe. The Adventures of Lennon Woodley. I had the VHS of the 2 episodes. Because remember back then you only got 2 episodes on a VHS. Yeah. I got StarQuest and The Two Men, and I watched them back to front. You know, Kale said, I could tell you what's in the Mark Thomas show, then failed abysmally. Yeah. I reckon I could probably tell you most of StarQuest. I've watched it that much.
Okay.
Let's just get it out of the way.
All right. Do we even need to say the title?
That's a flame for She's Nubs. Yeah, man, that was the best high five we've ever given. She's Nubs was the song. We bonded on this song so much in high school.
Yeah.
Why? Like, I know why, because it's an amazing song, but why is this the one that we were just like, maybe because it's so quotable and sing-alongable and fast, it's fun, and it's very punk rock kind of like humor. Not humor, but like charisma. Yeah. That's what I'm looking for.
It's just a brilliant song.
It is. It's like, really good.
I mean, it's obviously super catchy.
Yeah. Part of me wondered when I put it on, is this the kind of song that if I said I loved, that people would be annoyed about going, that didn't age well, that song. He's making fun of someone that has disability, physical disability. I don't think he's actually making fun of her. Through the lyrics, you kind of see him trying to understand her. And that's the part that, and also loves her for who she is. And I feel like that this is an immortalization of a fan that they had. That's what the story is, isn't it?
It's inspired by a fan, for sure.
Oh, right. I didn't even read these side notes.
Well, why did I put them in there?
Yeah, true. I was too busy just, writing down my notes about how much I loved it.
Well, entertain yourself, kids, while Jayson does his homework.
This song was inspired by Tali Osborne, a Canadian motivational speaker and punk musician who was born without arms and some of the bones in her legs. Osborne is a fan of the band and met them at a show. She recalls, I was determined to talk to Fat Mike and we chatted for just a bit at the Toronto show. A couple of months later, my friend had gotten a hold of an advanced copy of their new album. He phoned me up and told me that he thought the band wrote a song about me and played me the song over the phone. At first, I couldn't believe it. We had only talked for a bit, so I looked up their email on the website, and Fat Mike wrote me back from his AOL account. I guess I had left an impression. It was the ultimate compliment.
Yeah.
See, that's it. I feel like it is in that punk rock roasty kind of love way of like, you're a bit different, but we love you as a result, but we're not just going to, we're going to like not poke fun, but like point at the differences a little bit.
Well, I think Fat Mike's personality is that like roasting style.
Yeah.
But I think, and I've heard him specifically say this, like, so he does a thing like on the Warped Tour where he'll like, mock bands on the tour. And like he said, like, if I mock you, that's because I know you and like I'm friends with you. He doesn't mock the bands he doesn't know.
That's a good point.
And like, look, obviously, like if you read the lyrics to this song, I completely can see how someone would look at that and go, that's offensive because that's making fun of someone with
without
physical
knowing
disability. But when you look at it's inspired by a fan, the fan didn't take offense to it. The fan took it as a compliment. And I think like, imagine if they'd written some really like earnest, emotional song about how they met a fan who had overcome a physical...
in a similar way to track 2 on this album. Like in that kind of dark kind of like...
and about how they were inspired by that. Like it just wouldn't have...
Or how the political climate affects them in a negative way, like in how they're not represented correctly or taken care of. Like it would be a different vibe,
But it wouldn't have fit their style or their sense of humor. And I think, but to me, when you look at it, I think that is the song they're writing in their own way. Like this is a song about how like they've met this person, they've been totally inspired by how her like passion, her like the way she just like completely embraces like the part of her that makes her unique.
Yeah.
And they've been inspired by that and they've written this song, which is all about like, it's right there in the lyrics. Like we think she's totally rad.
Yeah, but it's as I was saying earlier, I really realized this time listening through, you can just hear his perspective of trying to figure her out and like wonder about her and stuff. And he says like, it's kind of hard to wear high heels or slip on banana peels. Like it's such a comical, and then the of her like the slip sound. How does she get in and out of tubs? I hope she don't get mad. I hope that she thinks this song is good, not bad. That always made me laugh because it's such a real, just so bad rhyming. But it's hope she thinks this song is good, not bad.
Yeah.
That sounded like Fat Mike. That was a pretty good impression.
Yeah.
And then when it comes in there, we think that she's totally right, she's not. It's like the perfect song. And then the no fingers, no toes, she doesn't own elbows. Going through everything. I could read the whole song.
No phalanges?
Phalanges. It's like, I'm friends. There's something wrong with the right phalange. But all of the things that she can't do, but she's still rad. And like, I met her at a show. I love the line. Sorry for talking about so much. But he says, it was time for us to leave. So I grabbed and shook her sleeve and told her I'd see her at the next club. She got into a pack and some guy put her on his back. She said goodbye and kind of waved a stub. That is like the most brilliant storytelling of like everything about it. But do you notice after that, that's where he starts like falling romantically in love with her a bit.
She's got beautiful eyes.
Beautiful eyes and breast regular size, but without calves and thighs, she's nubs. It's hard to give good head or get tied to a bed when all you've got is a body and a head, she's nubs. His brain goes to that caveman, like, men thinking of like, she's kind of hot in a way. And then that's his thinking of like, I've thought about like her trying to get through life and how she can't do certain things. But now it's like, how does she like, how is she intimate? You know what I mean? Is that what she's suffering from as well? But also he just loves her in that way. It's kind of sweet in a way.
And like, so they've become friends and like they've spent time like together after that first time when they met. And like, she's been on his podcast in the last couple of years.
She's like mythical in my mind.
Well, I think
she's famous in my mind.
I think she's become famous in the punk community. And even in like the episode of the podcast, it's called Fat Mike's Fat Mike, I think.
Okay.
He's like roasting her a little bit on that as well. Like you can just kind of see that's their playful dynamic.
Yeah. I think that's his dynamic, really.
And his personality for sure. And so look, I don't know, like I feel like we also don't want to offend anybody.
No.
But I don't think when you actually look at this song in context, this song is a nice song.
And I'm going to make a big statement here. I think a lot of the stuff that people get offended at, if you look at it in context, it's actually not offensive. Like a lot of times with like comedians saying stuff, they're obviously joking.
Yeah.
Like they're making jokes about the joke. But this is obviously not laughing at someone with a disability. It's, if anything, it's laughing at Fat Mike trying to figure out his perspective on someone that has a disability.
Yes.
But he still loves her anyway. It's sweet in a way. It's really cool.
But I want to show you a video.
Can I just say before we go forward, what is something that we used to say in high school all the time that made this song so damn good? Do you remember? 2 words. First one's the
whistle.
The whistle. Okay. So to say that, we're like...
My notes are the whistle, exclamation point.
Yeah, that's all right. The whistle, exclamation point. Man, we haven't changed. We used to be like, that whistle before he comes in with no fingers, no toes. You see that? Big whistle.
It's one of my all-time favorite punk songs.
Yes,
it's just,
100%.
there's something about it.
I totally agree. It's short, fast, loud. It's everything about punk rock. It's celebrating differences. That's the way I see it. Again, I do not feel at all that this is laughing at someone. I think it's celebrating differences.
Yeah, sure. I want to show you a video.
Oh, so who is this?
This is Kale.
The girl?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's her.
Yeah.
Wow. She's like famous to me. It's
Yeah.
like,
I
don't know.
I didn't get mad. I totally thought the song was good, not bad. Because they think that I'm totally right, I'm not.
This is sick. Oh, new song.
Whiteboard.
That's not. This song's so good.
Possessions never meant anything to me. I'm not crazy. Well, that's not true. I got a
I would never have thought that I'd be listening to the girl from She's Nuts singing Linoleum.
Yeah.
This is on my floor. That's right, I got a floor. So what?
She's got so much character.
So
Yeah.
what? I've got
Dude, that's made my night. I did.
It's so cool.
I'd never thought I'd actually put a face to the name.
Yeah.
To the nubs. Face to the nubs,
Yeah.
so to speak. But it's, I mean, it'd be like finding out, I don't even know what another example would be, but it's like finding out, you know, an iconic song. It's like, oh, that's the girl that he wrote that about. You know what I mean? Or something like that.
But she's like, so she's obviously a musician as well.
Right.
And has like played with, I think, Lagwagon. And,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, come up on stage with NOFX before, I think.
Alrighty. So, Mattersville.
I said great.
I said great too.
Okay.
We're pretty close.
Yeah.
I wonder how close that will stay. I said it's just so great to hear NOFX with such polished production because I feel like it's unlocked a whole bunch of creativity and potential that I haven't heard from. Then again, I just said earlier, I haven't heard many of their previous albums, but I just feel like I just have enjoyed that, knowing what NOFX sound like. I've watched a bit of live sets from NOFX.
Yep.
I just don't listen to a lot of their albums. But I mean, I know quite a bit of their well-known songs. But again, it's just that having this much extra production just sounds like, as I said, there's like girls singing, there's prettiness, there's xylophone and bits, like there's super pretty bridges with like atmospheric sounds, like experimentation with instruments that I didn't expect NOFX to do.
It's interesting, like, because we've kind of had a different perspective on the production side of things, because I still saw it as being different sort of production to what you get in a lot of the other albums that were coming out around the same time in like the pop punk genre.
Mm-hmm.
Like I see what you mean by production in terms of like the use of different instruments and different sounds and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like pick one drum sound, one guitar sound, one bass sound, and a vocal sound, and don't add anything else.
Yeah.
It's just record the album. There's more instrumental like playing in this than like Penny Bridge Pioneers, for example. You know, there's more. I mean, not just instrumental too. Just I think it was interesting on that album. I bring this up because I brought it up before. They had a lot of those boy band-esque, huge, big, thick, rich, lush backing vocals, and that's kind of the extent of the creativity that's outside of what you'd expect. But this has a lot of time twists and turns where I'm like, I had no idea that was where they were going to go. Do you know what's interesting about this song thematically is that in a way, he's complained about the state of America pretty much through the first half of the album, with little breaks here and there, especially for like She's Nubs. But it's almost like this is what we consider paradise to be. Like this song feels like that, of like if we were in control, this is what it would look like. Because he says there's a place where some of us choose to live, a gated community, cops can't come in. So the idea of like authority, what it symbolizes, can't be within their space.
Yes.
This is our gated community, and this is how we would run the world if we could, by extension. He's saying this is our community, and it would imply that if they had more control, it would be bigger than that.
Yep.
So he's talked about what's wrong with the world, but also showing what would make them happy.
Yeah.
There's a lot to it.
Yep. And again, like referring to like specific people again. Like there's a reference to Stevie Cab, which I'm guessing is Steve Caballero.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even pick that.
And
he says,
Eric Melvin lives next door to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Stevie Cab. There's still skateboard, of course. Yep, absolutely. And he says, Hefe's got an 18-car garage. Most of the cars are smashed. But that is so good because it's like, even in their thing, it's not like he's got an 18-car garage, but it's not like a rich capitalism kind of, he's rich and like has a lot of monetary, he's not rich in that sense. It's still just him working on cars and fixing them. That's what makes him happy. It's not owning rich cars. It's fixing them. It's really, really good. But again, it's just all these, it's all the people that are closest to him and the people he respects. It's like his ironically his idea of heaven. Like that's how
Yes.
it feels. It's like paradise.
Yeah.
Made me laugh.
That's a really good take on it.
It's, which is, I think, is really kind of beautiful because it's one thing to say, I don't like how the world's built, but it's like, well, what would you do? And it's like, well, here's actually what makes me happy. And it really sounds like heaven. And, you know, everything he would need to be truly content.
Yes.
On that note, what made me laugh was when it just said, and a block of cheese. Just we've got beer and a block of cheese. There's always beer and a block of cheese. It's just funny. In his mind, he's like, that's it. But again, like the storytelling stuff, like you hear on Punk and Drab, like there's a lot of like Linoleum. We just like heard her version of it, so maybe that's what's on my mind. But that song, I mean, when we do Punk and Drab, like I'd love to like kind of give you my thoughts on that. But it sounds so much like, whether he intended that or not, like such a metaphorical like parallel of him talking about literal things happening to him, but having a broader like self context, but also like repercussion of like, I love the line where he says about everything that he keeps close to him falls right down his leg and onto the floor. Like it's so much bigger than just my pants have a hole in it. But it's like, it's Carousel-esque of like, my life is not going the way I wanted it to, and I'm trying to hold it together. Like Carousel is such a not dark song, but it's so sad. Like hearing Carousel by Blink. And I think when he says tank of gas is a treasure to me. I know now that nothing's free. I talk to you every now and then, but I've never felt so alone again. It's so like, whatever the word, it's just like, it has so much despair to it of like trying to move on. Trying to set up your life when you're young and when you're in that awkward transitional phase where you don't really know yourself, especially if you've been in a long-term relationship, you don't know yourself outside of it yet.
Yes.
And same thing with Linoleum. So, I mean, he's been good since the beginning.
Yep.
Maybe that's why you can attribute a lot of NOFX's success. People may come to them being like, oh, they're just a fun punk band, but that deeper part of their spirit is craving something that is so emotionally connecting, and that's what that Mike has provided.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do love the line, Dwayne and Stevie Cab still skateboard, but most of us lawn bowl and shuffleboard.
Yeah. He's such an interesting dude. It's like, if I had it my way, this is it. I mean, I just love it because you can imagine all of this that he's saying. You can just imagine the little compound society that they have.
Yep.
That they live in their own bubble outside of the chaos that they've explained on the previous parts of the album. Just awesome.
I love the chorus too.
Yeah.
I think that's where it really comes together. Like
Yeah.
I like the verses and everything like that, but the chorus is, specifically the second part of the chorus, like they do those cuts. And then in the second chorus, when they do the cuts, they fill it with like lead guitar parts.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
I also really like the outro. I said that was really interesting too. Again, another unpredictable turn on the album that I didn't expect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Decomposer.
Yeah. So this one I gave a good.
Okay. I said great.
Okay. So
Yeah.
separated a little bit there.
Love the D beats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do I. But I think that I said it's good. I just feel like it has less energy than the song just prior. So I can't rate it the same because it's straight off it.
Musically, I kind of feel like this is the most complex song on the album.
Yeah, but that's the part I think that brought it down for a good for me. I really don't like, this is such a pet peeve, but I feel like this song lacked the polish that I heard in the other songs.
Right.
I don't like repeating sections in riffs where they just become predictable of like, I can't remember exactly what the riff is for this, but it's like dun 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 and repeats. That to me is like, oh, come on, I just heard this. Now I know what's coming. I have to sit through the rest of this riff.
Yeah, okay.
And this song has a bit of that in it where it just repeats. It's just overly repeated sections within a riff. It's not the song keeps repeating the riff. It's just, it's this part, then it's this part, then it's this part, then it's this part. It just feels too predictable. And that's what I didn't hear. NOFX to me, I love when they're unpredictable. And to me, I found at a very micro level, not a macro level, it was just, okay, I know where you're going. Hurry up. Get to the next bit. Yeah.
That's interesting because I didn't find it like predictable in that sense at all.
Yeah.
And like there was something about it that seemed musically a little bit more complex, whether it's the structure, I'm not sure. But for me, I didn't see it as being predictable. My favorite part of the song though, it's got another like guitar solo part in the bridge, which they do quite a bit of.
Yeah.
The guitar work on this album is amazing.
Yeah.
But specifically in the bridge to this song, there's two guitars playing together. One's doing like the lead solo, but then what would normally be the rhythm guitar is also doing like a lead part underneath it. The way they work together is amazing. And then the way they come back together to build back into the next set, like when they come out of the bridge, is just like beautiful.
Yeah.
So good.
Okay, that's cool. It's like like Coheed and Cambria, you know how they do the riff and guitars off
Yeah,
each
right.
other and stuff.
Yep.
But also like Pop, how Pop have the lead riffs. They're like
Yep.
both playing a different lead riff, but it works.
Yep.
I love the line that says, she's a masterpiece deserving restoration or condemnation. Time will tell. You know, like the idea of like, there's an ambiguity within the lyrics of
Yes.
the person he's singing about, which is really cool. Time will tell us if she's a lifer or a decomposer. She is Rose. No one really knows. Very cool.
Yep.
All right, mediocre. There's so many puns in this. Yeah, yeah.
NoFX do that so much.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that?
Yeah, decomposer, mediocre.
Yeah, but on
I don't
all their
know-
albums.
I don't understand Franco un-American. Franco? What's that?
I assumed it was a reference to like Franco-American would be like French-American or like...
yeah, good point. I just thought
Yeah.
about it then. I was like, okay, it has to be Franco-American. The pun is un-American.
The pun
Yeah.
is un-American. To be honest, I'm not sure of the link.
Hmm.
Like why Franco?
Yeah, why Franco un-American? Yeah.
But I'm assuming...
Well, it must mean something because of maybe you guys can tell us if they know, but like
Yeah.
Franco un-American is the title of, the main lyrics in the chorus too. That's the
Sure.
way to go, Franco un-American. So
Yeah.
it's obviously important to repeat it so much. All right, mediocre, what'd you give it?
I said great.
Oh, I said good for this.
Okay.
Yeah. I think
Scar vibes.
which is really weird because it usually is the inverse in that case.
I like them.
I said it's a great idea.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a great idea of a song.
Yeah.
Which is, yeah. But I said it's strange to hear them in that sound because they're obviously clearly poking fun at the industry, like in the
Yes.
pop punk industry, and saying, hey, this is how everyone sounds now. And they're kind of like mocking it by doing it themselves.
Yeah.
I didn't get that at first. And I was like, oh, they're actually doing like a pop punk kind of sound. And then they just almost like fuck it and just go into NOFX sound straight after
Yeah.
it, which is the unexpectedness that I just kind of come
Yeah,
to
okay.
expect from NOFX. But I said it's interesting that they critique other bands for predictability. That's what they say in these lyrics.
They do. Yep.
Because they typically aren't predictable. And as soon as he said that, I was like, yeah, like NoFX don't have traditional. I mean, someone left a comment on the Mount Rushmore video that we did on the reel or the short. I can't remember what platform it was on. Whatever, it's just the reel we did. And he said, Linoleum isn't even a pop punk song. Sorry, it doesn't even have a chorus. I was like, oh, well, it doesn't mean that's not the criteria of making a pop punk song. But he's right. And that's what I thought about. Linoleum is such a banging track and it doesn't really have a chorus.
No.
It has like a repeating kind of thing.
I
But
can see why someone would take that position though. Like given that like one of the things about pop punk was taking on pop elements,
Yeah.
including pop song structure.
yeah, it's
So
true.
yeah.
And I mean, you have bands like Blink-182 saying that they literally wrote their songs to sound like nursery rhymes or to similar to nursery rhymes. So I mean, for a lot of people, they may consider that to be ultra like away from punk, which is just play fast and loud and do whatever the song needs. But yeah, it's underpowered. The riffs are all deflowered. It's spreading faster than British tooth decay. Are you ready to rock? How you doing tonight? You kind of standing sleep, want to laugh and puke at the same time. This song sounds like 15 you've heard before. Like he really knows how to like make a point. Like, you know what I mean? Like he doesn't hold back and there's no, you know, sometimes when people make a strong stance, you're like, oh, that line didn't hit. Oh, that's a bit cringy. Fat Mike is like the king of getting it right.
He
every
lands
time.
them, doesn't he?
He lands
Yeah.
everything he
And
says.
he's brutal.
Yeah.
This is another one though where the way it comes out of the bridge back into the chorus is just epic. And it's again probably my favorite part of the song.
Yeah.
So it's where he sings predictability like a bosom will comfort them, my one true foe LCD. And then he goes, mediocre.
Yeah,
and it
yeah,
just comes up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
I love how he says, the list keeps growing, the melodies have been stolen. Remind me of the songs sung in the 70s. You might fool the kids, but you don't fool me.
Yeah.
That's it's really, really cool. And I feel like he is kind of like the gatekeeper of the genre. So if you impress Fat Mike, you've done well, you know?
Yeah.
So then if you haven't impressed him.
I think if you're on his radar, you're doing well.
yeah. Oh, true. Imagine that. Imagine getting roasted by Fat Mike on stage in front of
Yeah.
a crowd. You'd be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, man,
We've made it."
We made it. Yeah.
Right. Anarchy Camp. What'd
Yep.
you give it?
I gave this one a good.
I said good as well.
All right, sweet.
Yep.
I'd said it's more like hedonistic paradise themes, which is interesting because it's quite hedonic the way he's talking about, like same thing before. But that was more community based actually for the Mattersville. It was more like everybody getting along, but this seems very self-serving, which is interesting.
I guess in a way though, it's still playing on that idea of like, this is our idea of a utopia.
Yes.
Yeah.
But have you noticed that like a lot of the times where it's this what we would do instead is very like we want our stuff for ourselves and we want like because it makes us feel good, which is what I'm noticing in this song. There's a lot of that. It's more focused on the individual than Mattersville is.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I get that.
I'm like dissecting the themes quite heavily in this, but I feel like they're there to be dissected, which is why I like it.
Yeah,
you
sure.
know? Yeah.
I love the bit where he says, rules of Anarchy Camp, reckless abandonment, Random acts of dumbness will be rewarded.
Will be rewarded.
If you see somebody taking charge, you'll be expected to beat them because everyone who's no one will be participating. So good.
It's just so good because people do this whole thing of like standing up to society, but never actually set the rules. Like I appreciate the very specific rules here that he set for how things will run and this is how it will work. It's like he's building his own society rather than just saying, we could do it better. Let's take back the power. And still a strong message, but it's quite broad. This is so very specific, which I think like on Smash when he had a lot of rallying kind of messaging on that album, he did that quite well. But this goes a few layers deeper of like, here's specifically how I would do it. I've thought about this. And it comes off like he's really thought about it.
It's interesting. This is another one with, like, this is a real ska vibey song.
Yeah.
And I enjoy it.
Yeah.
As someone who doesn't normally like ska all that much.
What happened to Sam? What did you do with Sam?
I know. I quite like it.
Don't
when
patronize?
NOFX do it, apparently.
Doesn't patronize you?
NOFX. No, it doesn't patronize
Doesn't patronize you. All right. So American Errorist. I hate haters.
I said great.
I said great as well.
Yeah.
Oh, we're back on.
Cool.
Good.
It's one of their
Not many
simplest
lyrics.
songs.
Yeah,
I
not many
thought.
lyrics to this.
Yeah. But even musically, it was one of their simplest, I thought.
Yeah.
Like the verse is just 2 chords.
Yeah.
Love.
I said interesting clean riff. It's how they've got the clean guitars going.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a different sound to what you expect.
Yes.
Like you would think loud distortion, but they don't do that.
I love the chorus when it goes down to the minor as well.
Yep.
Super effective.
That's yeah, definitely. They do so much with so little in this song. I said it's a classic NOFX structure. Like it doesn't conform to a standard structure, but
No.
it still doesn't sound. That's what's clever. And I probably should say it's about all the other songs too. What I love about it is that with a typical structure that people conform to, you go, here's the verse, here's the chorus. Oh, are they going to a verse again? Oh no, little intro section again. And now we're back at the verse. It feels safe and predictable.
Yep.
This doesn't, but you never feel like that they have no idea where the song's going and it's just a bunch of crap squashed together. They know where the song's going. It's almost progressive in a way. Like it moves like a progressive song.
Well, I don't think there's a repeating section. It's just verse, chorus, bridge, I think.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Another great solo too.
Yeah. They
Really
are. They're unexpectedly, as you're saying, there's a lot of interesting guitar work on this that you may not expect if you don't know much about NOFX. I mean, like, I was surprised by it when I first heard it because how do you do guitar solos and tricky lead riffs without sounding wanky? You know what I mean? For lack of a better word. But they've done it really well.
I think El Jefe is like, I think his musical background was like jazz or something.
Oh,
like
right.
I think
Well,
he
that
was
makes
like,
sense. Like Fred Mascherino from Taking Back Sunday. He has
yeah.
like degrees in jazz and that. No wonder they did so well. Can't wait to do their albums.
All right, we got 2 Jealous Agains.
I gave this one a great.
I said great too.
Oh man, I can't believe it.
Is there any one song where we've had different ratings?
No, I think, 3, I think. You gave a flamed one I didn't, and then I gave 2 goods when you gave 2 greats.
Oh,
I think.
okay.
From memory.
Not even paying attention.
I'm guessing.
So this is the only song on the album that's about like a relationship.
Yeah.
And even that is such a unique approach. Like I'm going to write about a relationship, 2 people that are like moving in together and they've got this kind of like, oh no, are we going to get along? Because our musical like tastes might be different. Oh wait, no, actually our musical tastes are bang on. This is awesome.
Yeah. It's that twist on a strange thing, like on Dookie, where you hear the twist on the relationship.
Yeah.
And the one about breaking, where Mike don't broke his arms playing with his girlfriend, and they wrote a song about that. Yeah, something like that. I said this has like Metallica-like riffs in this one. In the last one too, a little bit too, but it has like, it's quite Metallica-esque.
Yeah, cool.
In bits. I said more vivid and descriptive lyrics. It feels like you're there with him. He's a great storyteller. That's the note I have here.
Yeah.
It's almost like I just want to be strapped in for a Fat Mike story. You know what I mean?
That point about it feels like you're there with him. That's that's good. I like that.
I haven't really felt that with other lyricists. You can appreciate them from a distance, but this is so immersive. It just pulls you into it and you're there in the room with him. You can imagine the society when he's explaining everything. It's like you see a video clip of, look at, he's over there. Oh, he's happy. He's fixing his cars and we're skating over here with Steve Caballero.
But you know what's so effective about it is a number of like the albums he's referring to, I'd never heard before.
Yeah.
Yet you still know what he's talking about and you can still get the vibe of the song. You don't need to know the specifics that he's talking about to be able to appreciate what he's talking about.
It's immersive is the right word. It just pulls you into his little world and it's just, that's where he lives or wants to live. And he doesn't like anything pulling him away from that world because that's happiness to him.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
13 Stitches, what do you got?
I gave this one a great.
I said Flame.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't expect that.
Okay. Good. I like to be surprised.
Do you know, like NOFX. Do you know what I expected to say? I thought you were going to say, I gave this, and I thought you were going to say good or fine or something because you had that look on your face that it was different.
No.
I was going to be like, oh man, I said I listened to 3 songs on this album back in the day, and there was Frank on American and Cheese Nubs. This was the 3rd song that I listened to so much.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
That's what I
Interesting.
thought was going to be my big surprise, but you took it off me.
Although, I think I read somewhere that this was a single.
Right.
I wasn't 100% sure. Like, it wasn't easy to work out which songs they actually released as singles. Like,
Okay.
like Franco on American was.
Yeah.
I think this may have been. So maybe it obviously was a bigger song than some of the other ones. And maybe,
Why did we gravitate toward it? I don't know.
yeah.
Strange. I have to say, do you know what? I'm just going to say here and now, that is the flame given to the least done in a song. Like, you know what I mean? Like the biggest
Yep.
rating given. They have barely any production in this song.
Yes.
It's just guitar and that radio kind of drums.
Yep. I love the tone of the guitar as well.
Yeah. So Flame, tell me.
So
why?
Flame is all about like the emotional connection you feel to a song.
I know.
And
Yeah.
just like, I'm telling you my point. I've got points, as you would say. This song is him relating how he got into punk music.
Yes.
The opening lyric is the first time I saw The
Okay,
Descendants.
I understand.
And again, going back to what you were saying about the last song, it's so immersive. Like the way he's just telling you a story that I don't have, like I can't really relate to it in the sense of I wasn't there at that time.
Yeah.
But I can relate to it in the sense of like I know the feeling that I had when
It's like
I was
being at
first
a show.
getting. Yes.
That's amazing. Now those radio drums could almost, it makes you feel like it's a band playing on a distant stage somewhere.
Yeah.
It does pull you into remembering your first
And so
sets
you can empathize with it because you're like, I remember the feelings
Yes.
that I had when I was first getting into the music.
That's a
When
really good
I
point.
saw like certain bands the first time.
Yep. I don't know if this song is a crown though. If you didn't rate it a flame, probably would. This is one of those like rare greats that are a crown. You know,
That's a good point because
I couldn't make. I was thinking I love this song and I loved it when I was younger, but I just couldn't rate it a crown. It didn't feel right.
and it's not like what you would call a banger.
Yeah.
It's-
Not. Yeah, exactly.
But when you talk about like emotional connection to a song, this song has just it hits me still now, and it definitely hit me when I listened to it. Yeah,
Yes.
when I was listening to the album when it first came out.
This is a song, as I said, I listened to this a ton back in the day.
Yep. Okay.
Even though I was notorious for listening to one song on an album, this is one that I was like, I loved 13 Stitches. I thought it was a really cool song back in the day. When he said, specifically at one point, he references Ill Repute.
Yep.
He says, I managed to catch about 6 songs of Ill Repute. And he says that someone threw him into a post and his girlfriend started to cry because he had to leave before. It sounds like his girlfriend started to cry because he got hurt, but it's because it's because they had to leave before DRI played 50 lousy songs. It's so funny that he's almost like pissed off at her for not being upset about him. But it's like she cried because she didn't watch some crappy band.
Yeah.
But Ill Repute, that reminds me of, maybe you don't remember this, but I had the Matters album by Pulley.
Yep.
And the song A Bad Reputation. That's very much like this type of thing too, of like being at a show.
Yeah. Okay.
The song starts with, long time ago, I saw this dick outside a punk rock show and blah, blah, blah. He says at one point, Ill Repute started playing the last song that they were playing before he goes into the I guess the tiny pre-chorus before the chorus or last bit of the verse before the pre-chorus. And every time I hear that, it's like they remind me of, that Pulley song where he's at the festival.
Yeah.
So this makes this even more accessible.
So there's another part of the book that I want to mention to you about one of the lines in this song.
Yeah.
And you kind of mentioned the line before where he talks about some suicidal threw me into a post.
Yeah.
In this book, Fat Mike talks about how when he was first getting into punk rock, there were gangs associated with there were different like punk gangs in LA in particular. And so there was one that were called the Suicidals, which were based on suicidal tendencies.
Well, I mean, it's capitalized, so that's interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was referencing a specific, like a proper noun, you know?
Yeah.
Didn't know it was a real person.
Yeah, so there was a gang called the Suicidals.
Right.
And so in the book, he says, and he's talking about his girlfriend breaking up with him, basically. He says, so you can imagine how crushed I was when 4 months into our relationship, some suicidals threw me into a wall at the Olympic and said, if you ever talk to Natalie again, we're going to kill you. That's how she broke up with me.
Oh.
So that might be specifically what he's talking about when he says some suicidals threw me into a post.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, pretty much bang on. He did say on this song, in the first verse, I hopped the bus to Licorice Pizza and bought my all-time favorite record.
Yes.
I want to know what that album is.
Yeah. But is it, in the line before, it says after a couple of months, I heard Kabuki Girl on Rodney on the Rock.
Oh, okay.
I'm guessing that's his reference. That's like Kabuki Girl. He's talking about that.
Okay. Oh, I'll go check it out. See what Fat Mike thinks. His favorite. Then again, get him on the book club and see if it actually is. See if it's actually Flames or whatever. I have one more note about this.
Yep.
Maybe controversial. I don't know how you feel about this. This could finish the album. This could be the last track, and it could be this sick wrap up of him like going through how he got into music and the way it has a different production. feel like it could finish the album.
Yeah. I do really like the last two songs.
Yeah.
I've got a reason why the last song is a great song to end the album on.
You've got reasons now.
Yeah, I've got reasons.
Alrighty, so tell me about him. Regaining unconsciousness.
I said Crown.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I said good for this one.
You said good?
Yeah.
Oh.
My first note is I'm not sure if it's needed. So we don't.
Yeah, right.
If you don't agree with me, the last song could have ended the album.
You know what? So I love the song. And again, it's the lyrics for me. Like the song alone is great.
Yeah.
And like musically, if it was like a song with like poor lyrics or lyrics that didn't have any real meaning,
Yeah.
I probably don't rate it as highly.
Mhm.
But I think just how like emotive and effective the lyrics are kind of just elevates the song.
I said it's a great political storytelling again.
Yes.
Maybe just because I've heard so much of it on the album, it didn't hit as hard. But
I can kind of understand that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it's also like, it's almost like, how would you explain it? Like it feels like his stripes are earned. He's like, first they do this, then they move here. Like I've seen the pattern before.
Yeah.
Like it's cool like that. I said it's got like Dude Ranch vibes in bits of it. I was just hearing a bit of Dude Ranch blink. Yeah.
Cool.
I'm not saying they were influenced by that, but it just sounded a bit like that.
Yeah, sure.
And also great chords in the ending. It had some really cool, like weird chords that they were bringing in. I can't.
Yeah, right.
I have to.
What sort of chords?
Well, I'm not sure exactly what they're doing there, but like it was like the equivalent of bringing in like a seventh or something like that, a flat seventh, where you just bring in that weird chord.
Yeah,
it was really really cool.
Just a little bit of dissonance.
Yeah, just unpredictability in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, unfortunately, I said I'm not sure if this song's needed.
Interesting.
I didn't love it. Yeah, some of the other songs on this album I really loved. And yeah, this one, unfortunately.
I think
it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's bad.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Alrighty. And last track, Whoops, I OD'd.
I said great.
Wow. I give this a bad.
You said
I'm not
bad.
even joking. Yeah, it's a bad. I'm not stirring you up. I just don't like this song at all.
Okay,
like,
now you need to provide reasons.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have many aside from the fact that I don't care for it at all. I said it's so much worse than the quality of the rest of the album, and I just don't like the theme. I don't like he's just kind of set himself for the entire album to be like, here's my really intellectual takes and everything like blah, blah, blah. And at the end, he's like, I OD'd. Like, it feels like he doesn't show himself, especially to end the album, the respect that he's earned through the rest of the album, like the prestige almost that he's got. And when I hear this song, I'm like, why?
I don't think it's celebrating drug use.
But maybe I could understand him doing a song about celebrating drug culture. But this is just like essentially like I overindulged in it, and like I have a substance problem, like which is fine, and there's nothing wrong with doing themes like that. But I feel like on the previous songs of the album, he sets himself up to be so. I don't even know what the word is, but it's just he set a tone with the first part of the album, and this is just totally out of alignment with that, and it just
It is thematically different in the sense that it's kind of like introspective and personal, whereas a lot of the other songs are about like society more generally. Like there's songs like Mattersville and Anarchy Camp, which are kind of like certainly Mattersville is personal, but a lot of the songs on the album aren't. I mean, I guess We Got Too Jealous Again is kind of personal as well.
Yeah.
But I love. Is it a bass guitar that he's playing? Is he playing an odd bass?
Yeah, there's a lot of times on this album where you're not quite sure if it's bass guitar or like twangy guitar, because the bass he uses, I think he uses one of those, I don't even know what the bass is, but it's got a really thin center pickup. It's like a Telecaster pickup style thing, but on a bass, which just makes the guitar, bass sound really twangy. Yeah. And like, at some points, what's the one that goes, it's earlier in the album, the really fast bass one.
It's not the from
is that
Separation of Church and Skate?
No, that's the.
Oh, that's a guitar.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Is that It Is Taking Over?
It might be. Yes.
Yeah. So that really fast thing sounds almost like it could be a real twangy guitar, but it's a bass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming this is a bass.
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah.
I don't listen to the song much at all.
Oh, okay.
Like I listened to it probably once and was like, bad. I don't like it.
I just think it's a great way to end the album because it's one of those songs that feels like you're winding the album up in a nice way. Like it's a softer song. I love the way it ends. It slows down. Sorry, it doesn't slow down, but it goes into like a halftime kind of feel at the end. And he's repeating the line, "We'll see you all at Okie Dogs."
Yeah.
Which I think was like a food venue that they would go to eat after like punk shows.
Yeah, I would assume that'd be something like that.
And which is cool. Such a cool sentiment. Like the show's over. We'll see you all at Okie Dogs. We're going to meet up later on. And
if you got to that same point from 13 Stitches, like that type of thing.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense to me.
Interesting.
I think because I didn't like this song so much, I was like, I just kept holding it to the thought of 13 Stitches should have ended the album because I didn't. It was a good song and then a bad song, in my opinion. So I think it should have ended. Yeah, I know it's pretty. I don't give out bads very often, but I don't like this song.
Okay.
Makes me sick thinking about it. Alrighty, so grab your baguette because that is the end of the ratings. That's War on Errorism. Oh, sorry, the War on Errorism. Done. Unless you want to say War on Errorism, comma the, but it is done.
It is done.
So what's your baguette for this album? What are you feeling about it?
So my overall thoughts on the War on Errorism are that this was such a gateway album for me.
Okay.
Like when I got this album, I was already like heavily into pop punk, but then this comes out and I hadn't listened to NOFX before. So it gets me into NOFX and kind of exposes me to punk rock more generally. And it was such an important album for me, I think, in that sense.
But I mean, on such a strange album too, because typically when people talk about NOFX, they're going to go for like, oh, you must love Punk and Drublick or something. Yeah, this is a strange album to get into NOFX on.
It probably is, but I think it just came out at the perfect time for me because I was 15.
Yeah.
And so like already, as I said, heavily into pop punk, and then this exposed me to this other aspect of punk music.
Yeah, like a darker, punkier sound when we typically listen to new albums that got brighter and poppier.
And we've spoken a lot about like the sorts of themes that he was writing about and about how like deep and thoughtful the lyrics are. And I think I was just at a time in my life when that kind of resonated with me because you're starting to kind of think a little bit more critically about the world.
Did you connect with the album as deeply back then?
100%.
Really? So wow, you're such an intellectual.
No, not really, but just I think
socially aware, perhaps.
I don't know. I just always loved the lyrics.
Yeah,
I guess.
right. Yeah. Okay. But that's a pretty wide perspective to get a 15-year-old kid.
Well, I guess it was opening my eyes a little bit.
Yeah. Ironically, more than Goldfinger did last week. So my thoughts on The War on Errorism by NOFX is I liked this album when I was younger. It was my first NOFX album too, which again is strange because a lot of people would think that it would be another NOFX album. I wonder how NOFX fans feel about this album. If you've followed NOFX through their journey, how did you feel when this album came out? Because to me, you know, when I first heard it when I was 15, I wasn't that socially aware. I didn't understand politics that much. I understood the anger toward the president because that is kind of typical in political, like, especially in like the punk scene. It obviously is against a lot of authority. I was well aware of those themes, but I gravitated toward it more because I really liked the poppiness of it. I love Franco and American. I loved She's Nubs and 13 Stitches as well. But as I've gotten older, I've listened to this album a couple of times through, but it wasn't until listening through for the book club that I have fallen in love with the storytelling on this album. It's so deeply immersive. It's so moving and compelling. It feels like by the end of it, you feel completely shifted by what he's just talked about in some kind of way. I think Fat Mike has so much. You said it earlier. He's obviously intelligent, but he's obviously like a master, an unassuming. Like everyone knows that he deserves the success. The success that he has, but he's almost like you never understand. Just on a like psychological level, the depth of persuasive material that this guy is capable of creating.
Yeah,
is probably deeper than a lot of people would assume that he could come up with, even when they respect him a lot.
Yeah,
there's a lot of depth there
because he's, telling jokes on stage and that sort of thing. Yeah.
Yep, definitely. Alrighty, so ratings. What'd you end up giving this one? Oh, well, what am we talking about? We could use the boards.
Oh, yes.
All right. So, drum roll. What'd you give this one?
I gave this a 5.57.
Holy shit, that's high.
Which way should it go? Anyway.
I don't know. Where's your list? You got to pop it on your...
Yep.
Oh, it's right beside it's on this side. 5.57.
We've got a new number 2 on my little board.
What's it kicking down?
Well, everything except for...
what did it beat? What did it come in?
Oh, okay,
it took the second spot from
Does This Look Infected? Oh, no, sorry. From Pennybridge.
Pennybridge,
which was 5.5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, here we go.
Show us what do you got.
Here's the reveal.
All right, number 2. I can't believe that. 5.74. You've rated that higher than my number 2 album. So that would be in my second spot too.
Okay.
That's higher than I rated the Untitled Blink album. All right, here's the drum roll. You do it for me.
Yep.
I rated mine 4.78.
4.78.
So you nearly gave it a whole number higher than me.
Almost, yeah.
Wow.
I love this album.
I know, but like Smash, when we did that, and Dookie even, like the ratings were nowhere near where we assumed them to be. And on this album, maybe because there's no context pieces, maybe it's the context pieces that bring him down. But
Yep.
genuinely, like, you gave it such a high rating, and it was just a couple of, fair enough, I gave the last song a bad, you gave it a great. But
Yeah.
for the most part, we were pretty much bang on. And I mean, yeah, what am I thinking? You're never going to give the last song a bad. I'm thinking, are we going to be the same the whole way through? No, of course not. But there's always hope in the beginning.
Yeah.
But I only gave a couple a good, and you gave it a couple a great. So like, it's not that big of a difference. But I think consistently you were higher.
I think I gave 3 flames, which is pretty high.
Wow, does any other album have 3 flames on it?
Maybe Does This Look Infected, but even that I don't think it does.
No, it doesn't look affected. We only really gave out 1 flame.
Yeah.
You gave it to, from memory, Still Waiting, and I gave mine to No Brains.
Yeah,
we only
right.
gave 1 each.
But that's the thing about that album. It's just like it's all so
crowns.
consistently higher. Yeah.
Yeah, all crowns.
Yeah. I mean, look, again, what can I say? I really like this album.
Yeah, so for me, 4.78, that takes it to 7, which is crazy because I didn't think it would be.
It's at 7.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
which is crazy to me because if you asked me what I thought about this album, if I liked it better than Dookie, I'd say yeah, for sure. Maybe not more than Sticks and Stones or Penny Bridge Pioneer has been the same, obviously, on my list. I wouldn't go higher than that. But yeah, I do. I like Dookie a little bit more, apparently, for the whole album. I wonder
That's
what my
interesting.
rating would be if it just didn't rate that last one. You know what I mean? Because I think it brought it down. That's like 4 numbers, like down. But still, let me adjust mine. There we go. So I have War and Errorism coming in at what's that, 7th? There we go. Good looking list. Oh, I'm not even in this shot. There we go. Good looking list. Smash is getting probably kicked off my list the next episode because
Poor Smash.
I don't even know what the next one is. Let's get into that.
Speaking of which,
thank you so much for listening. Thank you for paying attention this entire time. That has been War on Errorism. If you have liked this episode, I would love it, and we would love it. If you could, and Greg would love it. No, again. Anyway,
would Greg love it? I feel like Greg would be thinking, "Oh, this is more work. Someone's written in. I've got to."
I think he's
do
choking
something."
the algorithm, so we find it hard to get out. He's just like finding a way to hack in or whatever and do that. He's probably the one that's getting all our posts blocked.
He's also Cornbread that's making the comments about me.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe he's Kurt. Who knows? We don't. Kurt, I think Kurt's real. So thank you so much for listening. If you would like to support this show, the best way that you could help us out more than anything, and we would love you so much for it, is for you to interact with this on whatever platform you're on. If you're on YouTube, hit subscribe, leave a comment. Tell us what you think. What did you think about this album? Did you listen to it for the first time? There are people out there I know listening to this book club that are listening to the albums for the first time, and maybe you don't feel as confident to like say, this is what I felt about it, but you are exactly the type of comment we want to hear from. If you're just hearing this album for the first time, what did you think? Who did you agree with? Who didn't you agree with? If you are listening on the podcast platform, please leave some form of a review. That really helps us out. And if you just want to send us like through your thoughts, you can at Pop Punk Book Club or podcast at poppunkbookclub.com. On Instagram, if you message us and DM us and send us a voice memo, we can play it on the show. So feel free to do that. But without further ado, we've got next week's album coming right up. Do you know what's weird? I have to say, there's been a trend on the last couple of episodes where I mentioned Open Your Eyes, and at the end, it was Open Your Eyes. And then when we did, there was another one too where I mentioned, for this one, on Open Your Eyes, I talked about War and Errorism a little bit. It just happened to be the album at the end. For full transparency's sake, I have access to the schedule, but I can never remember what's coming next, really. So I wonder if that trend continues for the 3rd episode in a row. Have I talked about this album earlier today?
Interesting. Well, do you want to know what it is?
Yes.
It is.
Oh, wait, I got to do it. I've forgotten to. I used to do drum beats that were the same, like thematically tied to the album, but I haven't done that for a while. I need to bring that back.
Is there one you can do for this, or is it just D beats again? I feel like D beats is just the standard one.
No, 13 stitches. That's it.
That's good. The Ramones self-titled album.
Oh, wow. So we're going all the way back in time.
We're going pretty much to ground zero as far as punk is concerned.
I didn't talk about that album. The curse. The curse is broken. The theme is
But has
broken.
anyone mentioned it in a comment recently?
Someone actually did, yeah.
Yeah,
I've seen
go.
people talk about on the Mount Rushmore. There are people that advocate for Blitzkrieg Bop.
The universe has chosen. Well, actually, I may have introduced that idea. So that's
There's ego and there's calling yourself the universe because you're the one who does the themes. The universe has chosen that. Anyway, but before we go, there's something that you guys seem to be really liking, which we love playing.
It's time for It's time for Pop Punk.
Pop punk in the style of Shakespeare. One verse, one chorus. You get one guess. Let's go.
Hang on, you got to hold this.
So awkward. How did they do this in Shakespearean time, reading off their phone, holding their skull? My lad, fair angel, the stain of thy painted lips upon another's collar betrays thee plain. Think not to hide it, for I see full well the treachery that passeth in secret. All thou hast desired lies now within thy grasp, sweet princess, yet it is purchased at the ruin of my soul. Which wouldst thou rather, I pray? My finger poised upon the trigger of a gun, or mine own frame laid low, face down upon thy floor? So long as the weapon be charged, either ending stands the same. And wilt thou boast unto thy company, saying, I hold this life within my hand? Let them know, if thou must, that this tale is but the shadow of my longing, naught but wishful dreaming turned to despair. Thus ends my thought. All this was folly. All this was vain imagining, yet the wound remained as true. Look, there was people saying that yours was too hard. So
Were they?
I've gone back to being that's easy mode.
Is it? Okay,
Yeah.
because I'm reasonably confident.
I saw it click for you.
Yeah.
Where it's pretty much bang on the lyrics. So
Yeah.
if you don't get this one, guys, you're never going to get this
please.
game.
I'm
Sorry, to
pretty
make you feel
sure-
good about yourself, it was the hardest one we've ever done.
I'm pretty sure it's
Correct, it is.
Yeah, okay.
I will give one hint to everybody. Remember when we say pop punk and adjacent albums? We
Yeah.
sometimes mean adjacent with this one, but as soon as you know it, you'll know it.
there's enough triggers in that song, so to speak, that you can.
Good one. You just gave it away. Have a great week. We'll catch you guys later.